Welcome everybody. Hey, got a few viewers. Awesome. 8 viewers. Nice ones. Hello everyone. G'day Mango. Nice one. So welcome. This is I'm just going to do a quick live stream. The Hedron Auctions are coming up, and oh, by the way, am I the first person to do a live that's ever been early? 5 minutes early. Like, I think that's a bit standout from the crowd, isn't it? I'm going to put the chat up here. Oh, cool. I got that. Yeah. Good. Hey, Hammy, Identity, Jawa. Jawa wanted me to give him the band hammer, didn't you? No idea how to do that. Let me see if I can do that. No, it doesn't say I can do that. On the 3 little dots next to your thing. I'm using the freebie version of Restream, so I don't think I haven't got too many extra options, to be honest. So welcome everyone. We've got 4 minutes to go. Why don't I just actually bring up, without too much delay, the actual auctions. Oh, why aren't they coming up? Here it is. Beautiful. So there we have it. 6 minutes to go on that first one. I can't read it unless I do it at the full screen. Okay, yeah, 6 minutes to go on that first one. We're at 2,500,000,000 and 100. I think that was. I think it was like 2 billion, and then someone chucked the extra 100 on there. I'm not sure when it went over to 2.5. Anyway, that's coming up soon. The big question is whether we're going to see some action here in the last 5 minutes, and whether those are going to be the actual numbers, or whether people are going to, if the bidding is really going to start like within the last 5 minutes. There's been quite a few people who have, or quite a few addressers who have made bids, or a handful. I mean, what's quite a few? And it's pretty exciting, hey? This is the first one. Another historical event. Hell yeah. History in the making. And yeah, if anybody wants to jump on with me, feel free. Because, what did I do? Something. Oh, here we go. Let's do that. Oh, what the hell's going on now? Oh. Trying to steer the ship and talk people through it at the same time. So yeah, any of you guys going to make an extra little bid? You know that I'm not going to be doing it. I can't do any of this all at the same time. That's just ridiculous. Jawa, I hear a rumor that the first one may get a special JPEG attached if they ever to make it to an NFT. Guys, you know what? That's what I'm really excited about. I'm excited about when we can link JPEG NFTs to these HSI NFTs. And it sounds like it's a contract and it's not that difficult to do. And when that happens, man, just imagine all of these beautiful, amazing pieces of artwork that people have been working on, but they've got an actual financial value to them that you can measure and then you can see. And it's probably going to go up in price over time. Like this, Hedron could actually bring real value to art. And I say that as an artist myself, not a visual artist, but I have dabbled in a few other things. So ironic, man. I used to actually do solo theater shows. I used to travel the world doing solo theater shows, just me and the audience. But the thing is, I always had the audience right there who I could kind of interact off with, and they were like a member of my show, And now I'm just like doing this thing, just talking to yourself to a screen, man. It's just weird. I think I much prefer it when I've got the other Aussie hexagons on there, even if I can't get a word in edgewise. Like, I still just prefer like that energy of people, you know what I mean, and the bounce back. Anyway, how we're going? I don't want to miss the moment. So we've got 3 minutes counting down. No new bids. So whoever bid the 2.5 Billy is looking, maybe feeling a bit nervous right now, but I reckon they'd be pretty happy. It's a third of the way through the last 5 minutes. Of course, if it goes to 0 without a bid, then that person wins that HSI. But if somebody comes in and maybe chucks another 100 Hedron, how much is 100 Hedron? We're talking about cents. Like, if you were interested in this in this stake, why wouldn't you chuck a few more cents at it? That just doesn't make any sense, does it? Under 3 minutes now. So, Jim Rat, how you going, bro? No idea what MWTF means. Something about mothers and fucking or something, probably. Yep, first time catching me live. I'm live. I'm live once a week with the other Aussie Hexicans, but I never really kind of put much into doing my own kind of channel. I like doing it with other people, I think. Joe, 13 out of 300,000 people not sleeping on this history in the making. No idea. Yeah, history's made all the time, really, isn't it? Ooh, getting down. No new bids. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. People, if you want if you want to make history, if you want to get the first ever HSI on-chain evidence of which you'll have, not necessarily that you want to, tell a lot of people about what you've done, but every now and then you might want to, at a hex gathering, you get us kind of like late at night, slip it in. By the way, I'm the one who got the first ever HSI. Imagine that kudos in years to come. Oh, no bids, and we're getting 1 minute 30. What are people saying? Oh, thanks, man. Silky smooth. Yeah, the auctions are like more kind of like a bit full on in Australia. It's like shit like that. Whoop whoop. Hey, Koru the Viking, Giffen Ware. He thought about it. You still got time, mate. 1 minute and 12, 11, 10 seconds to go. Wow, that bid from last night sometime, I'm guessing, is going to go through, it looks like. Oh, they'd be very happy right now. Under a minute to go. Geez, you want to get it in. You don't know how fast you make sure if you do make a bid, put a nice big gas fee so to make sure you get that bid in. Oh, it's down to the wire now. No new bids. You'd think someone would come in at the... Come on, somebody. Just to throw a few extra cents on it. 35, 34. Okay, let's just do the countdown now. I can't go back and forward because I can't see this screen if I go back to your comments. So I'm just going to watch this go down. 24 seconds, 23. Now's the time to act, people. If you want to do it, now's the time. And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sold! Winner! That's a nice little addition. The old winner sign. Well done to whoever... I wonder if I could... I think you can go on Bloxy and check out who did it. I won't go and do that. I won't do it on screen. Nice one. Awesome, David Sanchez. You're coming. You're a little bit late on that first one. This next one is up though. It's got a very interesting number. The current bid is at 456,456,456. So that's an interesting choice of numbers. What's 3 times 456? It's like 12, 13, 68 or something like that. Doesn't mean anything. Is that a numerological thing, 4, 5, 6? Like if it was 3, 6, maybe they did 3, 6, 9 and then someone outbid them, so then they did 4, 5, 6. So we've got 9 minutes left for that one, people. To be the second ever person to win an HSI. But on the first day. Yeah, everyone's just... Maybe that's what it is. Like people are just like... You know what? I'm really not that stressed in this whole kind of bear thing, to be perfectly honest. I'm just like, whatever. I'm okay. I've got food. I'm living a good life. Like shelter, doing things. Oh, one else. What happened then? Oh, another one just came up, eh? But that's probably got 24 hours to go, does it? Yeah, right. So there's another one on the cards there for only 43 B shares. That's pretty low. And that's got a very 239 million. How much let's work out this 456 456. Let's see how much that's actually 56 456 456 times what's the price of Hedron right now? It's 6064 6064 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 4. So that's $292.13. That's actually be nice, Alex, if we had a little USD value included in this. Alex has been working hard on the V2, and we're all pretty excited for when that comes out. Couldn't be with us tonight because he's sick, so hope you feel better, mate. Make sure you drink a lot and get some rest because probably been burning the wick at both ends. Alex has a job, like a full-time job, and he like develops it, just does all this stuff for Hedron, like makes up the whole thing, like runs all the chats and like gets FUD thrown at him and gets people, I don't know, demanding things from him. I don't think people have fully realized that cryptocurrency, we're all part of this decentralized autonomous organization. It's like the whole thing about no expectations. It doesn't mean about there's something deeper to that. It's like, don't have expectations about anybody in your life. Like if you're not happy about something, you have the power to go and change it. And you're going to feel so much better if you went and did it than if you sat around and then hoping, and then one day someone actually did do something. Like you can empower yourselves here. Maybe I should start reading some comments. Mudhog, how are you 30 seconds faster than the DAP? Am I? I'm just like basically got the DAP up and it's going, and I share the screen. So maybe you're lagging or something like that. Or maybe my stream is lagging in time by 30 seconds that you're watching, but then you'd see me doing it later. Is that what's happening? Okay. Yeah, everyone's wrecked, eh? Mango will wreck people from... Yeah. It's an interesting one about Gunter. I'm always split, like at the time I was a little bit like, I thought the unethical thing was that he was a moderator in the chat and he was talking up stuff while he was selling it down. And it wasn't that he sold Hedron. I couldn't give a shit if people sell. Like that's the whole point. Shake out the hands, get them out. You know what I mean? And if someone can make money and then puts it into text, that's awesome. But then he was also sending messages out after, and they're just weird messages like wanting us to buy back in or something, or it just felt a little bit weird. But I'd be totally up to, like, I don't think anyone's ever, like, we're all people. We all make mistakes. God, I've made tons of mistakes. That's how we learn. And like, I'm never going to write anyone off. Like, and it was his decision to split ski, and how he wants to handle that, that's up to him. And if he wants to come back, then, fine. We really take ourselves quite seriously, don't we? Oh, is this one going? I should probably be onto it here. Okay, under 4 minutes. Wow, 456, 456, 456 has not... That's also from last night. I'm pretty sure that was... Wow, so maybe you can kind of get in early, and if the price is right, people are not going to overbid you. You'd think, though, that with all these... Maybe they kind of did the maths and they thought, you know what? I could just sell this Hedron instead of bidding. It's just how you value these things. what's his? Oh, he's in here, isn't he? I keep forgetting people's names. Gaffy, no, not Gaffier. Gifford. Gifford did this great thing on how to value these things. We really needed that implemented into a website. Jar was the most serious person we'll ever meet. Don't believe that. Yeah. Oh, Feder. You reckon Feder run it? Is he bragging about it? Or has someone done some people doxing his address? Or do you reckon it's Feder? Why is everyone saying Feder? Oh, David Feder's here. Did you do it? Did you, Feder? Did you message that? Oh, you won it. Oh, look at that. That one auction was... Oh, it's too pricey. So he didn't do it. So what are you talking about? Feder didn't do jack shit. Feder pussied out. He couldn't handle the heat. Hey, it's coming up here under 2 minutes. Wow, 456, 456, 456. An ominous number. Looks very strong. See, the thing is, if someone has taken the time to put 456, 456, 456, do you think they're going to let someone else outbid them? I don't know. That's actually like psychologically just a very strong number to put down, because it's kind of saying, I don't give a shit so much about this kind of stuff, these Hedron things. I'm willing to throw these around a bit. In fact, I'm willing to just put in whatever number I want that looks kind of aesthetically cool, rather than, writing down the exact number. Oh, so like that other person has done 369, 369. Is that the same person? The numerologist in us. Oh, under 2 minutes to go, guys. And it has not changed. Is no one going to make an extra bid? Come on. Don't you want to see a bit of action? A bit of auction action? I've never actually been in an auction, to be perfectly honest, apart from the testnet ones that we did with these ones, but like not one that actually meant anything. I've never actually bid on anything in real life. I'm the kind of person, though, that you just tell me the price and I'll just decide whether I want it or not. I hate all this haggling thing. Like, man, India, it's like, you got to haggle for everything, And look, they have fun with it, and it's like a cultural thing, Oh, man, I just found it a pain in the ass. Like, just tell me the price and I'll decide. I'm not a very fun person. Well, minute to go. Come on. Is anyone going to make a bid? It does not look like it. Wow, the first two went without a hitch. No bidding fighting. I mean, I suppose you don't want to get into a bidding war, but, don't you want to see someone have to... Like, you could just chuck it up by one Hedron, couldn't you? And, like, see if they put it up again. Well, it's really not testnet, is it? These things were going... Bids were coming in thick and fast for testnet, which probably goes to show that, all this stuff that's happening on PulseX testnet, that the prices and whatever's happening, don't compare that. Oh, under 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sold! Well done, 456, 456. You are the owner of a beautiful 71.49 B share HSI stake that you can go and borrow, if you wanted to, a whole lot of HSI. Oh, that was a sound like someone that says come in. Hey Sloth.
How's it going, man?
How's it going?
Can you hear me all right?
Excellent. I can hear you fine. Yeah. How you doing?
Awesome,
you been
man.
at a jam or something?
Yeah. A couple of my dental school friends and I, we get together every once in a while and just play some music. So it's a lot of fun. But I always got time to come for historical Hedron moments.
Yeah. So we've just had the first two auctions have gone. There was no extra bidding. Like those bids that were there from, I guess, last night sometime or this morning sometime. They that's it. They managed to come through.
Nice. So it was 2.5 billion. Was what it went for?
2.5 billion and 100 Hedron.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and the second one went for 456, 456, 456.
Congratulations to those guys. Those guys, historic wins. And hey, what's up, everybody in the chat? Good to see you, Ryan D, Hexecutioner, Jim Rat Crypto. It's good to see all you guys. Hey, Jim Rat, I think we're about the same age, man. Calling me a young man. I don't know what's up with that. Just kidding. But yeah, how you doing, Blue Bum? I think this is the first time we've been on stream together. I know we've talked about voice chats and stuff before.
How do we do this? Let's do it this way. Yeah, I'm really good. Yeah. We've I've been watching your streams. I've been loving your streams. I actually watched when you first made the what do you call it when you put up slides and you show what Hedron is? Oh, someone else is coming in now.
That like my Hedron 101 video, like the very first one.
Yeah. But it was like, what do you call that when someone makes slides?
A lecture, presentation.
No, yeah, presentation. But you call it this, presentation. And we've got someone else here. Who's this? Mango Junkie.
Hey, Mango Junkie, what's up, man?
Hey, man.
PowerPoint. Oh, he's frozen.
Ahoy!
Oh, there he is.
Hey, brother.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, cool. Yeah, sometimes with the streaming stuff, like man, it's kind of like a little wonky from whatever reason. I thought it was always good, but apparently not.
Yeah, I'm exiting out of all my tabs, so I have a little bit more bandwidth.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
But yeah, and I think this is the first time we've actually spoken. I know we've been in a lot of chats together, Mango Junkie. So it's nice to meet you.
Man. Yeah, dude, you too, man. I love hearing you speak, dude. Like, one of these days, too, man. You're gonna.
Nope, cut out there.
Fucking blow up, and you're gonna fucking. Oh, is it really?
I appreciate that.
Oh
yeah, no, you cut back in. I hear you.
Okay.
I appreciate
that.
I'm
just quietly. Maybe I'll come in.
Was that a threat? One day he's gonna blow up.
No, I think that's racist because I'm Middle Eastern. You can't say that to me, man. I'm just kidding.
Oh no, it's okay.
I'm just kidding.
Allah.
But no, I appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody who's watched my streams. You know, I just kind of came on just because I needed a place to put my thoughts and record them. So it's been so awesome that the community has been so receptive of all the stuff I put together. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, for sure, definitely.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's interesting times now, huh? Major hex dip at the same time as the first Hedron liquidations getting sold. So many things happening.
Yeah, hopefully deeper. I've been literally staring at I'm actually on vacation. I took 2 weeks off for a PulseChain launch, and obviously it didn't launch. But now, luckily, we got this huge dip, so I'm literally just like staring at this screen with dry powder, hoping for another huge wick down. And hopefully I'll get a good piece of the action. I got in earlier at like a couple bucks at 0.057.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm just kind of just like on edge, like, dude, this is amazing. Like these buyers who came in late to begin with the hex, and then now to have this buying opportunity again is just like something. I never thought I'd get an opportunity again to buy at something below 10 cents. You know what I mean?
And Blue Bum sitting over there chilling like, yeah, I'm an OG. We're like X's above my entry point. I'm cool. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I bought some. I went to buy some last night, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy Hedron and MAXI, and I didn't buy Hex actually.
Nice.
Like Hedron was down at a 50% premium, which is cheap for MAXI. Sorry, MAXI was down at a 50% premium, which is cheap for MAXI. So I was like, well, grab some here. And I just bought myself a whole stack of Hedron because, I mean, Hedron and MAXI are kind of tied to Hex anyway. Like when Hex moons, Hedron and MAXI will probably go up even more. Maybe.
Especially MAXI, maybe a little more too. Yeah, good. Yeah.
I've actually had I've had a weird thought on like DCA into MAXI as of right now, and I think this is more relative to like where I personally am with my portfolio. But eventually, I want to DCA my funds into MAXI. But like for some reason, right now, I feel more comfortable just getting liquid hex, just because I don't feel I would like my baseline foundation of my portfolio in hex to be set before I start DCAing into the derivative projects as like a fiat entry. And that's been weird to think about, because if I were to like make arguments, I'll be like, yeah, of course the MAXI premium is going to stay, like you were saying, like 50% premium, it seems kind of low. But for some reason that 15-year wait period before the redeemability aspect of the coin, it's like both its greatest strength and its greatest weakness, because it could lead to I don't want to say uncertainty, but at least unpredicted volatility, potentially. And so for some reason that uncertainty, my subjective uncertainty about it, not necessarily objective uncertainty, has made me want to DCA more into hex right now, which I didn't think I would do. I thought I would DCA into MAXI. So that's been an interesting behavior of mine to observe throughout this time.
I think it's going to depend on the premium. Like if you're coming in and the premium is up at 80%, it's like, oh, do I really want to buy MAXI at 80% premium?
Yeah.
Like
I wonder if you could calculate whether the premium is overvalued or undervalued relative to the treasury, because like, so if it's a 50% premium, you could interpret that as like the treasury has gotten 50% more hex / Hedron in its grasp, like it's able, like that's what it's accrued via the stake. But I don't know if that's true with how short the stake's been out. Like, has the whole stake already accrued 50% more value in terms of hex?
No. What that's measuring is it's looking at the price of hex, and then it's adding how much interest has been accrued to that address so far, and then it's adding up how much Hedron you're able to mint from that address, and it's adding all of those USD values up, and then it's comparing it to the value of hex.
Yeah.
And so that's what. So it's really kind of like see, I mean, eventually, because it's a share of a stake, it will meet that premium. But it's kind of like 2 years away. So it's really like a price of 2 years from now, in a way.
Yeah. And I guess and this is math I need to do, just because I'm interested in, like, has the accrued extra hex and Hedron, does that equal a 50% premium? And is it trading different?
No, that's what. If you go to the Maximum Stock Cash website, they've done that maths.
Oh, they've done that
for us.
Oh, yeah, shoot, I didn't know that. I haven't looked at the website too much.
I'll bring it up. It's pretty cool. I mean, I love MAXI.
Now I sound stupid. I'm like, just look at the website, dude.
Yeah, it's on the dashboard.
Yeah, I'm choppy as fuck over here, so I'm like too scared to even like open up another tab to even look at anything. You guys really sound like robots to me. It's like,
wow, that's weird. Is that because your computer is shit?
No. My computer is great. My laptop's great. It's like I have my other lap. I have like my crypto laptop open on the side over here. It's actually just disconnected the Wi-Fi.
God, you'd think where in the States where you are, you'd have good Wi-Fi. So yeah, that
Dude,
Maximus.
I'm in Central Jersey too. It's like no matter where I go, I have full service. But like one time when I was on Discord Syndicate too, it was like choppy as hell, and I had to get off the stream because it was just like nothing was happening. I don't understand, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
So it's at a 58% premium now. So yeah, that's the MAXI market price, and that's the I can't say because all of you are kind of over that. But yeah, I think that
the daily
backing per
accumulation
MAXI
is just insane though. It's like the accumulation per day is just like woo. It's like, dude, I think I'm literally just gonna I'm just gonna hold this to the end. Like it's pretty nuts to have the ability to claim this stuff.
Man, we just got so many options now. It's so hard to make decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, it shows a premium, but I think the number I want to calculate is the you know how it says 7,081,000 hex accrued. That's not 50% of the entire original stake. So if that's not 50% of what was originally staked, hypothetically, if you could redeem MAXI now and it would be distributed to everybody proportionally, you wouldn't get that 50% premium that you could swap MAXI for on the market.
No,
Does that make sense?
That premium's like at least 2 years away.
Yeah, the premium is higher than what has been hard locked in by the Treasury. You know,
that's why it's called a premium.
Exactly. Which is well, no, the premium is regards to 1-to-1 hex, but it also is trading at a premium versus the Treasury value too. Like there's a premium on both, which is that's interesting to me. I need to think that through.
No, I think that premium that he's advertising there, that's the premium on not just hex, because it says backing per MAXI. It's on what that stake is like with the interest and the Hedron.
Okay. Maybe I'm just not understanding. I'll look at it through myself.
Yeah.
What's the biggest problem that you're trying to work through, Sloth?
No, it's just something I've been thinking about. Now that I have these numbers, I can see if what I've been thinking about is actually something or not.
Okay.
I don't think I'm explaining myself very well right now, so I'll drop it. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So, and I think this could be the bottom for Hedron as well. Like, it's so cheap at the moment. Let's have a look at the Hedron chart, actually.
Yeah, it was flirting around, what was it, 605? It was flirting around there for a little bit. Let's look back.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's 60.
Yeah, I saw it drop down there. Yeah.
What's nice to see, though, is if you look at, the buys kind of nearly double the sells, which sounds to me like, whales getting shaken out and little people coming in and buying it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all. With that large amount of liquidity that was sold last night, Hedron held up pretty well. Like, it obviously dipped a bit, but it didn't like majorly tank, which was impressive.
Yeah. No, I think people who have bought Hedron are kind of like, they understand this is a long-term hold kind of thing.
Yeah, they really like.
I mean, when people saw it pumping, and they bought in because they thought, "Oh, this is pumping."
Yeah.
But,
but that has to get hammered into your heads. Like, this literally is a long-term play. Like, especially like learning about the B share, like how the share rate. First of all, learning about how the share rate works for PEX, and then realizing how Hedron was designed after the share rate. You have to have that long-term mentality of realizing what that means for the mintability of the coin over time. If you got that in your head, it's just a meme coin for the most part. In my mind, like, I think that's what most people think. You know what I mean?
I think people really get caught up on where the buy pressure is going to come from, because from what I've seen, when I make arguments or I listen to other people talk about it, they are not convinced that the liquidation auctions are a sufficient burning mechanism to offset the current inflation of the system. And so actually, go ahead, Blue. I don't know if you.
No, I wasn't really going to answer that. Okay. Yeah, but like that's the arguments that like specifically like Motley, which obviously Motley's amazing. He's great and everything too. But that's like his one like gripe. I guess I'll say like that's like his one gripe that he says about Hedron is how it's just like perpetual sell pressure from the whales in there, which I disagree with because of how Alex explains this to all of us in the chat. Is dealing with when Hedron launched, the amount of mintability they had from when it launched was great. It was vast. It was all that pent-up energy of those previous days served, dumped onto the market when they saw it. So when Gunther was cheerleading and getting all the noobs wrecked and buying in at the low prices running all the way up, all the whales dumped on top of them. And that's where everyone got wrecked. And that was a big mass. Like, that mass dump was the mass dump. So now we're here at the bottom of the market, and now if those whales start dumping again, they're not going to be.
Yeah.
They're not going to. They're just factually not going to run up. You know, and that was that was like kind of like my whole gripe, like with Gunther when he was on Jim Rat's stream yesterday. He didn't lie about any. I don't know if you guys caught the stream he did yesterday on Jim Rat's show. He didn't lie about anything that he said. It's just the context that he gave to the audience on Jim Rat's show was false. It was wrong because he was a bad. That's my words. And my Gunther was a predator on the noobs and the weak-minded people in the Hedron chat that were treating Hedron like a meme coin and were running it up, and then they didn't realize what was actually happening with the coin, and then everyone got dumped on top of that. So he was kind of like playing like the victim mentality, to whereas when Gunther first came into the chat, and I'm sorry to go off on a tangent here, I'm a little drunk. I'm going to speak just for a couple minutes. I'll get it over with. So that's when I and a bunch of the other people that came over from the Hex trading chat was because they're coming in over and cheerleading. Like, I'm in the chat for hours every single day trying to teach people about Hedron, not just me, many other people. And they hear these people come in, shit posting, spam posting, being cheerleaders. And it's like, dude, it's like I'm trying to sift through questions here to answer people's legitimate questions about the project, the product. So that's when they moved to the Hedron trading chat, and then that's when they all got wrecked, So that's something I wanted to get cleared up, is how like the narrative that he was sending out on Jim Rat's show was false. He was almost kind of like playing the victim, like, I'm a huge staker in Hex, and which he is. Like, I'm not downgrading anything about Gunther, about how prominent he is in the Hex space, because he's an amazing Hexican, no doubt. But the predatory nature that he took upon the Hedron trading people, it was just wrong. And that's all I got to say about that. You know what I mean? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's room there where, like, you can have your perception of what happened, and he could have his perception of what happened, and you could both be right within your perceptions.
Yeah.
Like, I guess in his world, he was giving energy by being a moderator in the chat, and maybe in his world, I guess because I listened to his thing on Jim Rat as well, and in his world, he just saw this.
And he's a great Hexican. I don't want to downplay his role in Hex. He's an amazing Hexican.
Yeah. And I think I was the first person, or one of the first people, to interview him and to bring him onto our show, because he'd just done such amazing work on the Hex audit, auditing the OA. And so I thought he was highly valuable, and
he is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. And then I guess
anyway.
Yeah, I mean, just to say that I can understand as well that in his world, he might have just seen that opportunity, went, right, I'm going to take this opportunity, and he did.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of like, fair enough. And so when I did hear about it, I was just a little bit, because I felt like I helped introduce him to the broader public, and then I was like, I thought it was a little bit unethical because as a moderator, but then that becomes really, really tricky, because it's like, like, what ethical responsibilities do moderators have in terms of them, what they do with their finances? And really, as a moderator, I see us there as to spread good information, and if people are being idiots, just to try to chill them out a bit, and that's about it, really. And really, our finances should be probably completely, separate. But I guess it just,
The part that really bites me, in the ass, is how, we follow Richard Hart, right? I follow Richard Hart. I'll say for myself, and to have the mentality of delayed gratification is something I hold dear. So to have someone as a trusted leader in the Hex community, which is Gunther, to come into another space which is directly related to Hex, the Hedron, to have him come and play cheerleader and with a trader's mentality, that's what really bites me in the ass. That's the part that kills me about the whole thing. And that's what really just hurt my feelings about the whole thing too, is like, you come into the main chat spamming up the place with basically trading spam. And I was literally was just about to ban him out of the main people that they brought over. They brought them over to the Hedron trading chat. It's like, there's certain mentalities that need to be in certain places, and I get it. The whole thing, and then Bree doing the Hedron trading, I get it. I don't like it. I don't partake in it. But that's the only part that I got real sour about. Salty boy. I'm a salty boy.
I mean, it's all good. It's kind of all petty. In the long run, in the scheme of things, it's kind of petty. Yeah.
Yeah. But the auctions, though, that's cool, right?
Yeah. First two are down. Yeah. We didn't see any action, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame. But God, you want someone to make one extra bid in the last 5 minutes, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See the 5 minute.
Yeah. It's like you were expecting it. It's like you were expecting at least a little something extra on the end there, But I didn't do the math though. Like, did you guys look at the math for it? Like, what was the actual value of the Hedron compared to the stake itself?
I think it depends how you value the stake. Because also, like, they both had 10x bonuses attached to them. And so you could go and borrow, like, most of that, what they won that with, again, if you wanted to. Or if you just, waited it out, you'll get that at the end.
Well, you can't.
They were long stakes, but yeah.
But you're not able to borrow your launch bonus, though, right?
No. Oh, sorry, that's true. You can just borrow the base rate.
Yeah.
But if they wait, well, they could probably just wait 3 years.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Executioner is saying the price was appropriate. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. I would just do the simple math of like.
We really need some stats sites for Hedron. Hey, there's so much stats that we could do.
Yeah.
I was wondering if people was bid it up like crazy just to get attention.
Yeah,
because I know people at the very beginning were just making stakes so that
it wasn't
700 B shares, dude. Yes, 700 B. That's gonna be a lot one day.
I hear you, dude. Fucking A, bro. Yeah, definitely. But wait until what is 25 days? 25 days to gigantic one might be up for liquidation. It's 54 T shares or something like that. That's gonna be interesting one to see.
That's gonna be a huge one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really interesting whale move, isn't it? How much would that be worth in dollar cost?
I can't have no part of that, even if I wanted to. I think
how much is 50? So 54 T shares is probably is that like 70 grand or something like that? Or
that's about.
It's quite.
Oh no, but hang on, because you could be doing it with 17 T. Is a quattro? It's at least a 10 or a 15 year. Hey, so it's
I
actually
think it's 30. I think it's 10 year. I think it's 3650. I think it's 300.
So it's 17. So it's actually 7. Yeah, so it's
about 23 grand.
Well, it's buying 17 shares, really,
T-shirts?
isn't it? Yeah,
17 T-shirts.
Yeah, because if you wanted to buy that stake, you'd buy 17 T shares and then you'd triple them with the longer pays better. So 17 times, what is it, 1,500 or something? Oh, you said $23,000.
Yeah, 54 T shares. If you're maxing out longer pays better is about $23,000.
And so how
much?
Now,
at current prices.
How much Hedron is $23,000?
Oh, jeez.
3, 1, 2, 3 divided by 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. That's about 38 billion Hedron.
38 billion. Okay,
it's a couple bucks. It's
a solid amount. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's actually really hard to get a solid position in Hedron, even though the price all-time lows. I mean, you want a turtle position, which is about $1 billion, and that's going to cost you at least $500 where it's at right now. That's a lot of money for just a turtle position. Like that's like I think the staker class rankings really puts into perspective, because they're all at at an increase of like a 10x multiple. It really puts into perspective how difficult it is to achieve higher ranks in the system. To move up in the system.
And even though the gas hasn't been crazy, it's still a little intense if you want to just try to throw in a couple $100 here and there. Like, forget about it. It's like if you're not like late night, or if it's not Saturday, like Saturdays have been really cheap for gas. But if you're like doing during the day or early in the morning, like Eastern time, talking like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. or something like that, it's like you're still looking at like $10. Maybe you can catch below $10, $15, $20 a transaction. But it's not easy just to throw $100 at a time at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ja was asking, is somebody named Gafar in the green room? I don't know if.
Oh, is he?
Hedron Lord Hedron?
I can't see him in here.
I can't see anything.
So.
No, he's not in here. Okay. Yeah, Jawa, we read our chat.
So he's not. So Gafar is not.
Yeah, if you wanted, I don't know if you wanted to DM him or if he was trying to look for it, because I didn't see your link anymore. I was actually putting in the chat about the link. I put it in I went into Crypto Sloths. Went to Crypto Sloths chat. And I saw the link there.
Yeah, no, I've linked him and I've put it in the Hedron mods chat. So Lord Hedron, if you're listening, it's in the mods chat. So there's that question there. Obviously, it's someone who hasn't research in depth, kind of like how we have. So could you guys please give some more detail about how Hedron is tied into B shares? Absolutely. So you can mint Hedron.
Go ahead, Blue.
Yeah, you can mint Hedron based on B shares multiplied by how many days you've served. So it's pretty directly rated to B shares. And in the future, as T shares become more expensive and people talk more about B shares, and then in the even further future, as people talk about getting M shares, million shares, the amount of Hedron that people will be able to mint ends up going down over time. So although Hedron will always be, it'll have the potential to be inflationary. It'll kind of depend on how much Hedron is being burnt through, because anytime anyone borrows Hedron and they pay it back, that Hedron is burnt. And then there's also the proof of burn function that could be run. So there will be Hedron that is burnt over time, but we don't know how much that will be. So in terms of being able to mint Hedron and bring it into an existence, as T shares become more expensive and then B shares become more expensive, that ability to mint Hedron will go down over time. And so that's why we talk about Hedron being such a long-term value proposition, because at some point, I put it this way, at some point, the price of Hedron will probably overtake the price of Hex in US dollar terms, because Hex is an inflationary asset. So it's an exponentially inflationary asset that's only paid to the stakers, but still there's a lot of Hex coming into supply. And as we move further and further out, that amount that comes on every year gets larger and larger and larger. Whereas Hedron goes the opposite way. And so at some point, and it might take 15 years or 20 years, or God knows how long, I have no idea. But at some point, mathematically, you would think that the US dollar price, if we even use US dollars as our unit of account in the future, but that US dollar amount will probably be larger than Hex. So we're at the point of the highest inflation at the moment, and
it was designed like that too.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's people don't even realize that too. It's like this is a hyperinflationary period of Hedron.
Which is why it's so cheap. There's tons of it sloshing around. No. And you think about when Bitcoin first came out and people could mint it up for free on their computers. That's when that was the lowest price as well, when there was tons of it around. wasn't much demand. Few people.
Yeah,
who knew
that
about
Richard Hart RH quote, the best time to buy is when there is the most inflation and the most centralization, I think applies to where Hedron's at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting tokenomics, Hedron. Super interesting. And like I know people like talk about like how it's the HSIs, which are the real value proposition, and they are, but I think its tokenomics is underestimated. And I think that people just think, oh, but he's given away so much to all of these hexagons for free.
Yeah, right.
They're just going to
right now
dump
they
it
are.
forever.
Yeah, right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But once
And
they
I
dump
mean,
it,
when I hear arguments like that, there are two things that I think of that kind of at least put that fact into context. It's one, my new onboards. When I look at the amount of money that my new onboards are able to put in to the Hex system, because I get them into Hex first before I even talk about buying Hedron off the market. I look at like how many shares that they're getting, and very few even get up to a T share. And so some of them I got the 10x bonus, but most of them aren't going to be getting any kind of bonus by the time they get their stake settled and everything like that. And the amount of Hedron that they're going to be able to mint is dust where it's at right now. Like it's basically none. And it's not just the direction that we're going in, but entries in the system basically can mint next to zero Hedron relative to its dollar value and relative to old participants in the system.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get worse from there. Two, in addition to that, the people who have the ability to have what is essentially an infinite faucet of Hedron that they can just mint from ad nauseum, at least for 15 years at the max, there is a finite number of those people that will ever exist. Not a single person will ever have that ability to mint that much Hedron ever, unless they come in with a stupid amount of capital, even at the prices that we're at right now. So those people with that ability are in an extremely fortunate position because they were able to accumulate a very scarce asset early when it was easy to accumulate. But that opportunity doesn't exist anymore. And the 10x is gone, and soon the launch bonus phase will be gone too. So even those people, when all of their stakes are up in 15 years, they will only have an 11th of the minting power that they have today if they restake everything and maintain their proportion of the share pool that they have today.
Yeah. And it's only 15 years. I know it sounds crazy to say, but I know it sounds crazy to say, but it is only 15 years. Like years fly by so fast too. So
like they go faster the older you get, don't they? Like they really do. But the time between when I was 20 years old to 30 years old, that took a long time. The time from 30 to 40, that went a bit quicker. The time from 40 to 50, holy shit, man, that was just like,
dude, I hear
that, man. That's like unbelievable.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know what it is, but there's something about those ages. Like when you're getting older, those years just keep on going by, and it's like, oh wow, okay.
Well, and do you remember when you were a kid? It was like, oh man, it's taking forever. Like when you were like 5 years old and like or something like that. It's like time would go forever. Like you imagine being an adult. It was just like that's like so far away. It's like, never gonna happen.
Yeah, I think the going explanation for that is like, when you're 5 years old, 1 year is 20th of your entire lifespan. So it occupies a larger percentage of the entire time you've existed versus when you're 20, it's only a 5% of the entire amount of time you've existed. So like it's
a very scientific way of looking at it. I like it.
Yeah, it's sequentially a lower proportion of your entire lifespan, so it's perceived as a less amount of time because you don't have as much history when you're younger to go off of. Like a year, literally, when you're 1 is half your life, and a year when you're 20 is a fifth of your life.
Dude,
20,
that's
20th
wild. That's a very interesting way of looking at it. I've never ever thought of it in those terms. That's very interesting. That's cool. You are the philosopher, Mr. Sloth. That's cool.
I need to brush up on my philosophy. Jesus, I used to be way more into it, and crypto took over my life. I got to get back into like argumentation and like epistemology if I want to like brush up on my arguments on some of this stuff.
It's basically like if you took your birth chart but you did it in log scale. Like
Yeah,
because, like,
that's
it's like
exactly
1 to 2 years,
Quick log.
100% increase. And it just goes.
Why are
That's
you
so
charting
funny.
your life on a linear chart? Are you? What are you? A
Yeah.
pleb?
Yeah, you miss all the resolution.
You the Hexicans are gonna jump down your throat if you post that chart on Twitter. Why isn't it a log?
Log. That's funny. Yeah,
But
I forgot where I was going with that point though. But just dealing with the whole with the length of just thinking about the future for this stuff. I know a lot of people are like doom and gloom about like the governments and the world situation and stuff like that. But I'm an optimist at heart. So I think it's all just gonna work out, and people will be voted in, people will be voted out. There's gonna be skirmishes, there's gonna be wars. There's tyrants and there's good people, and throughout history, I always keep referring back to this. It's like people don't look back at history, and there's just cycles of civilization that happen naturally, and we're no different. Like, we're in history right now. Like, we are living history. We are always living history, and we're just going through another cycle right now. And it's the ebbs and flows, man. It's the ebbs and flows of humanity. Humans are not perfect. We are not animals. Humans are not perfect, but we are not animals, and this is just life. So I think we're gonna pull through. Okay, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna
Hey,
do it.
Blue, I got a question for you. Because I know you've experienced quite a few major hex corrections at this point. How does the sentiment now kind of compare to like previous large downtrends in the price?
It's probably the longest period of downtrend. Like, it's almost a year or something, isn't it? It's like, less than that, 9 months. It was never like, I came into Hex like 6 months after it had launched.
Okay.
So I didn't experience that first kind of God whale coming in and sending the price up and all of that. I came in after, in the middle of 2020. And so when I came in, it had already pumped and it dropped down, and it was like pretty obvious. Oh, this is a really great time to get in. And and then when it dropped after big payday, that was so much fun. It was like so much fun, and I caught it after the big payday drop. I caught some at 0.0002. Like, and
That's
I think only Bree was the only other person that got lower than that. And and so it was a real celebration. Also, because there had been a 24-hour stream, and so it was really fun. It was, and like, we were all celebrating, and all these other people were like, it was funny because like all the Bitcoin maxis were on stream going, like, they couldn't understand why we were celebrating, why we were so happy, and the price was crashing so much. But it's like we understand. We just understood the long-term tokenomics of it, and how it was all working, and we were proven quite correct, because it bared for a few months after that, and then it started going up, and then it went up a lot, and then it went up a really lot, and then it's been pretty, and then this last one has been a very long one. I remember the 2017 crash, or 2018, or whenever it was, like start of 2018, I think. Because like I got into crypto in January 2016. Like, I read a book about Bitcoin in August or September of 2015, and just went, holy shit, this is it. Like, this is amazing. I took some time to watch it all, the markets. Then I first, bought my first Bitcoin then, and made all sorts of, dumb trading errors, and thought I could be really smart about like things, and got scammed a few times. But then when that run up, it was just like, whoa, I'm rich. And then that crash, and it feels the same now. But I don't feel it's going to last as long. Like, back then in 2018, after a little while, I was like, oh, this is multi-year. It was just obvious. And I just basically sold all my alts, put it onto Bitcoin, and just forgot about crypto for a while. I thought, just leave it, do other stuff. And it feels like when people talk about how long this crypto bear will last, I don't think it will last as long. I don't think it'll be even a year,
for
even
the
6
macro,
months,
for all of it.
even for 6 months. I mean, I just see that. I mean, I just see it as the only kind of like thing that's innovative in this world at the moment. Well, not the only thing, but like the only kind of mainstream, the only thing that has any kind of mainstream like catch to it, you know. And I think it's really important for the world to get out of the control of these fiat currencies. So like there's so many reasons why, and it's just not a value proposition to hold fiat. Like you're going to lose purchasing power. And we're seeing the ramp up of inflation now in the States and in Europe and in Australia, you know, in Western countries. And the people who are governing our Western countries are just really dumb. They're really just not.
It's like where's the end of it? It's
so
like where's the end of it?
clueless, you know?
Yeah, it's like where's the end of it? It's like how
I just don't say. So my point is, I just don't see this as a very as long a bear as it was back in 2004.
But I hope.
But I am quite an optimist when it comes to crypto. Like But back in 2018, I was just like, oh no, this is a multi-year bear. It seemed obvious at the time. It feels a little bit different this time. It feels like people are going to like panic for a few months, and then they're going to kind of come to the realization, like, oh, I'm holding something that I'm assured will lose value over time, and I've got to put it somewhere. And so, crypto seems the obvious kind of option, and more people are learning about it. It's growing faster than the internet grew in the 90s.
How do you know that though? Like, what kind of metric do you go by that? Like with that,
Moomin
There's
told
some
me.
charts out there. There's some charts out there.
Hey, if Moomin told you, I believe you. If Moomin told you, I believe you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he's big into stats and stuff. I think he does it through things like search terms and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure. But
hey, Hexecutioner, I'm gonna as real quick, Hexecutioner, I'm gonna steal that name on something, like a title or something. Hedron Slother. I like that. It's funny. And sorry, I know I did you.
Nice. I don't see what that is. Oh, Slother.
For me, I mean, I wasn't around. Like, I got in about actually a year ago now. I'm pretty much on my like 1 year anniversary, like seriously in crypto.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Hey, yeah, we're 1 year old, baby.
That's right, brother.
1 year old investors. But at least from my perception of like hearing people like you who were in around the post 2017 bear market, I think probably what's the main difference between this one and all previous crypto bear markets is there may not be that fear of crypto may never come back. You know, like after 2014, it went down. Like do we really know it's going to come back? Are we
went through a full cycle?
Are we 100% sure? And then 2017 ICO craze, which to me, you know, people have been calling this past bull market like a .com-esque type of bubble. But when I hear about like what was going on with the ICO craze, that seems more .com bubble kind of thing. Because it was just like a white paper in a dream and then money just flowed into it. That seems more like a .com bubble kind of thing. This bubble, speculative bubble, seems maybe more like institutional onboarding, where like more people are like, hey, like crypto is like an actual thing we need exposure to. And just this one fact, it's game over. Central bank digital currencies, like because central banks have said we need to be on the blockchain. Like, just game over. Blockchain's here to stay. Like there is no, like, it's done. Like blockchain technology, crypto as a whole is just here to stay, because the people who are printing the money have decided that they need to print money on the blockchain. Like that.
I would not be surprised at all if governments like push out this really crappy central bank digital currency. It gets hacked within about 3 months. And all it does is basically onboard people into crypto because they'll start, because the government has said, you know, we want you to do this. And so they know that, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually just a great onboarding tool for crypto.
Yeah.
Ironically. And because they're so inept, governments are so inept at what they do. They're so bad at what they do. Like
Yeah.
whatever product they come up with, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be
Yeah.
atrocious. Like, and especially because it's going to be some centralized thing, like that, and it's going to have, and because they have so many factions within governments who are trying to control it, like it's just going to be a shit show, and it's not going to have any kind of long term value. Obviously, it's going to lose value really quick.
And also,
they're just coming out with the worst product. That's their big idea.
Yeah.
Okay, crypto's here. Let's come out with the worst product than crypto.
Yeah.
Like they're just so dumb, people in governments. They really are. Like they go from high school into university or college. They get gifted these easy jobs. Like what the fuck does a banker do? Honestly, what does any kind of financial person do? They shift money around and they get taught how to kind of write reports or something like that. They're not that smart. Those people are not that smart. Like I even but as part of my last job, I got hired by this company to help onboard people onto crypto, and I had to onboard I had to explain some CFOs about Hex and Pulse. They're really not smart people. They're not intelligent people at all. They're like people who have learned how to write reports, I think, and have learned how to do one thing in a particular way, and they have not been taught how to kind of
delegation, or just delegating, just pushing it off. Like, okay, here's the objective, go do it, and then that's pretty much it.
And Execution has a good point in the chat where he's saying like USDC is trying to get backed by the Fed Reserve. I mean, it's already like partly owned by like BlackRock, JP Morgan has their hands in there, Coinbase has their hands in there. It's basically becoming Fed coin already. Which
it is. Well, the Fed can't the government kind of like give them some sort of order and say freeze this person's funds? I mean, essentially, it's like that's what the CBDC is, eh? Like they've got their fantasies about how they're gonna like tie it to people's carbon footprint and all that kind of crap. But like, good luck, guys. Let's have a committee and have a look into that for the next few years and see what you can come up with. Like. So much of it's their fantasies, and like people get scared of their fantasies. Like the World Economic Forum, they're just salespeople. Here's the big secret: they're just salespeople, and they're bad salespeople. So like they're not controlling jack shit. How come we're seeing them so much? Because they want to sell us something. So, like just remember that fear is how they control people. And like them spouting out about their fantasies about how they're going to control everybody in the world and stuff like that. It's just their fucking psychopathic fantasies.
Yeah. The only thing I thought of that like maybe like government having admin keys for and like being able to control where you spend your money. The only positive I could really spin from that, and I don't think it outweighs the negatives, but like I know a common argument against social welfare programs is that people essentially cheat the system and are able to kind of spend the money wherever they want or not necessarily in the directions that are like quote unquote productive in their life or like for non-productive things like alcohol, drugs, whatever. If there was programmable money, then at least the welfare programs could be purely used for their intended purposes. I was like but
there's so many unintended consequences to that kind of stuff. Like, what's that sound?
I think he's just outside.
It's train. I live by a train. Yeah, I live by a train.
Oh, okay. It wasn't a spaceship.
No, it was a train. Yeah. I live below the tracks, brother. Come on. I gotta live cheap, man. I gotta live cheap.
On the wrong side of the tracks.
I gotta accumulate.
Yeah, you got a mango habit to get through.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking expensive, man.
He's a junkie.
Living in New Jersey, man. Living in New Jersey, those mangoes are not cheap at all.
They're not cheap at all, dude. They're not cheap at all. It fucking sucks.
What was I talking about? I had a really good point and I completely forgot.
I was just talking about welfare programs, like how that could
be
actual use case of admin keyed CBDCs.
Yeah, the problem is
I think you're saying like the net it's not worth it is basically I think where you were going with that. Like there are so many downsides in it that it just doesn't make sense to still do it.
The thing is the people are going to innovate around this. Like whatever rules they come up with, people will innovate around them. I was listening to recently to someone talking about in South Africa, it used to be that a white person, like when they did the electricity to a house, the black person wasn't allowed to plug the plug into the socket. Like they did all the work, but they weren't allowed to do the final bits of work. A white person had to sign off on, they had to do that, and they had to sign off on some shit like that.
Is that true?
But because, yeah, well, this is a story this guy was saying, and yeah, I think that was true, yeah. And so, but
wow.
the point is that they all did such a good job that after a while, the guy who was the white guy who was like the manager or whatever, he wouldn't even bother. Like he just let them do it. And it's the same in Russia. There's some Russian saying about like they can make all the rules. I can't remember what the saying is, but it's basically they can make all the rules they want, but like we're going to do what people will do what people will get around any dumb rules. And so the more kind of dumb shit that governments come up with, people just like find ways around it, you know? And so
yeah, I'd be interested.
There's always a workaround.
Like at the moment, they're debanking people. At the moment, like in Australia, there are things like vape shops and tattoo shops and people that the banks don't like. Like this one guy, I think, had a business where he'd take cash around to different ATMs or something like that, and the banks debanked him. Like banks are already doing that. They're already doing what the role of this CBDC has the potential to do. They're already debanking people, and so. The way around that is crypto. That's the innovative way around. It's to have the payment system using crypto. And like we have the technology now, but people don't use it in a mass way. And it's because it's also splintered and stuff like that. But eventually, when the governments put more and more pressure and do more and more stupid things, they ironically and paradoxically just push people into those innovations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. It'd be funny to see like a central bank digital currency trading on like a decentralized exchange. There's something like oxymoronic about that. That'd be kind of funny. They put like a liquidity pool with like Hex and like the central bank digital currency on Uniswap
well, you know,
PulseX. That'd be kind of funny. Like just as a joke, like an irony.
But we've got it now. You can get USDC on Uniswap.
Yeah.
Like we have it now essentially.
But,
you know, the USDC is not a cryptocurrency.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask you before to kind of explain your whole. I want to hear your spiel on stablecoins, and now we'll specifically say USDC because how you were saying you don't like stablecoins. So I want to hear more from you on that. I would like to hear more of an explanation on that because even just how we just brought up how it's not decentralized to where some people might still look at USDC as decentralized.
Okay, so like in terms of store of value, what's the worst store of value? Pretty much any fiat currency.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're taking whatever the worst store of value is, and you'd go into all this trouble to try to peg a digital currency to that shitty thing. So the only reason that the US dollar has value is because we use it as the reference point for everything else. We use it as the unit of account. Like we can't conceptualize how to use anything else because it has to be this kind of mass consensus. But so they go to all of this trouble in different ways, whether it's algorithmic or whether it's they say they're backed by stuff or they have a basket of stuff they're backed by or whatever way they do to try to hook in a digital currency to the shittiest of coins. Now that digital currency is centralized. So a government can come along and tell the people who own the keys, you have to move that money from there to there.
Yeah, stop.
You can take that money away. So now you've got, not only have you pegged to the shittiest store of value, you've also got the shittiest like risk associated with that store of value. And so that's why I just kind of think the whole idea of stables is like, ugh, I just don't like it. I don't want to hold them. I don't like. I understand. Like I would have been. I probably would be a lot more wealthy in terms of them if I would have held them at certain times. But then I'm just trying to time the market. Like anytime anyone's going, like anytime anyone is taking profit, which just means they're moving stuff into USD. It's like, yeah, maybe they'll. As soon as you start trying to time markets with trading, I know this for myself. I'm not very good at it, and so I just don't do it. You know what I mean? I'd rather accumulate. And if I need to, and I try to make sure I have enough money in my life to live my life the way I want to live with it. And all of this crypto stuff is long-term savings. And when I say long-term, more than 4 years. And I think if you hold crypto for more than 4 years, you're pretty right. Like you're not going to.
That's like basically kind of like the point I was trying to bring up is like for people who do. Like I don't know the term. I don't even know the fucking terminology because I don't trade. But it's like the term for doing like a long trade to where there's an obvious trade coming up to where there's this parabolic rise up, and you're starting to DCA out. What do those people trade into then if there's not a stable coin for risk off for a risk off asset?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called swing trading, and like if they don't have something that's pegged to USD, and if they don't have something that's pegged to the USD,
you just go into ETH and then just like get bank account. Just go to a centralized exchange and get the dollars in your bank account. That's probably what I would do.
That's what I'd prefer to do. Yeah, that's what I'd prefer to do. Rather than hold US, like I'd rather like. I mean, I don't want to do that, and I'm sort of avoiding doing that as long as possible because I still believe in crypto's value proposition long term.
Yeah,
but
I would only hold stables for things that like I have an intention to DCA into. I wouldn't hold a large cash position like long term in stable coins. Like even obviously in hindsight, all the anchor stuff was not great, and the 20% APY on stables, fell through. But that's not something I would personally ever do, even if it was sustainable, just because of the counterparty risk. Well, for some counterparty risk, but the risks of being in an asset that's pegged to the thing that I want to be holding, And that's a personal like investing philosophy. If I'm in crypto, I'm in coins. If I'm in cash, like I have the cash in my bank account, and then I'll ladder back into the crypto world whenever it's appropriate. That's what I've been thinking about it.
Yeah. So like you said, like I don't even deal with that problem, but I was just thinking of it as like what do those people do? Because I've heard Bluey talk about his position on that, but then I was thinking about the people who talk about swing trading or doing risk off, like specifically doing risk off in bear market situations. It's like, well, what the fuck do you do then? Like, do you just cash out and go to your bank? Or but then that's basically just kind of how it's just explained. So.
Man, I can't wait for the day when we can just like basically
just
cash
transact,
into
just transact
just to transact, just to be able to, I don't know, like go to a store and buy something with crypto.
Exactly.
Buy a meal with crypto. Like in that case, like we don't need to go through USDC at all. We just if you want to have a nice big bag of stuff that's
it's gonna come.
Payment network,
it's gonna come, no doubt. It's gonna come too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think governments will probably
sooner than later too. Because it's the same thing too with silver and gold too. And this is my gripe about with people bashing silver. In my mind, in my opinion, is how like from where I'm from, when I go to if I want to go to a certain farmer market or something like that to get some fruits or veggies, these people will take gold or silver as payment. They will take cash. Of course, dude. It's gold and silver, of course. So that's my whole gripe with people talking about like tangible
how do you get change? But how do you get change?
There is no change. You do a weight.
Well, you have grams of gold or something like that, or
you can have grams. You have 10th ounces, quarter ounces,
right.
Well, hang on. But if you're dealing with smaller weights, then you're dealing with silver. If you're dealing with heavier weights, then you're dealing with gold. then you're dealing with gold, and that's just trade. Like that's just part of trade. You know, that's just how it is.
Wow.
Barter system.
It's always been like that. It's always been like that since written history. It's always been like that, and it still is like that. Believe it or not, it still is like that. It still is like that. You bring up gold or silver to somebody as opposed to paying with a credit card. A farmer is going to take gold or silver as opposed to a credit card or even to cash.
Wow.
If you bring out dollar bills, for where I'm from, you know, I'm from New Jersey too. We're from this very very modernized liberal state. But if you whip out gold, silver, or cash, they're going to take those three over a credit card. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah. Or even trade, farm equipment, old cars, service, work for food. I've worked for food. I've worked for food in Florida. I lived in Florida. Train's going by. Hang on.
Yeah, at some point I could see myself buying gold, but only like physical gold, and only as like what's the word? Like a bug out bag kind of thing. Like I just hold some gold for like the worst case scenario that could happen, like from a civilization perspective. But I don't see myself holding at least paper gold. I definitely don't see myself ever holding it. But I could see myself holding like physical gold and silver for a little bit, for like in my house.
Yeah, you don't need a lot.
But just playing that,
need a lot. Yeah.
Just
like,
playing that imaginary.
Go ahead.
Well, just playing that imaginary game, like if it's like, you know, like everything goes seriously to shit. Do you think people would be trading in gold? Like it's so useless. Like wouldn't things that actually have much more practical value become the things that people trade?
Yeah, at that point you're just.
I've heard it's like alcohol and cigarettes become the kind of currency.
Coffee.
In those, or things like
alcohol,
or things like
cigarettes,
guns.
Guns, there's a big one.
Ammo.
Yeah.
NSAIDs,
real,
like
man.
over-the-counter medications, like pain medications, aspirin, Tylenol. Those are good currencies.
Yeah.
Right. Medications,
that'd be really good.
I suppose.
But the gold would be used. I think gold would still have like some value just because you're relying on the historical valuation of it. Like it's been one of the stores of value for the longest times in history, and that meme is just in people's minds. So once the resources start to naturally get centralized, as they will, like naturally that happens, those people will want to store it in something less perishable, like a gold or a silver, long term. That's the assumption that I have.
And Sell Hex in the chat and Mudhog makes also another good point too. Salt, sugar, heavy metals, brass, lead, copper, soap, everything and anything can be traded for a goods and service. And it will be, and it has been, and still does today get traded for goods and services. Believe it or not. If you're from a city, you won't see it. If you're outside the city with it, if you're 10 miles, 5 miles outside of a city, these things still do occur every single day. Scrap, cast iron, it all still gets traded till this very single day. Believe me, just believe me. Yeah, believe it or not, that's what actually turned me on more towards crypto was Richard bringing up that point. I can't remember what stream it was, but that was like the pivotal moment for me to where he brought up the point to where Richard says Richard doesn't want the US dollar to crash. He doesn't want it to crash. He doesn't necessarily want it to go over to some other kind of reserve, because otherwise then crypto is almost basically worthless because there's nothing backing it. And he brought up the same point about gold and silver. He says that's the breaking point of basic crypto is when it goes off the US dollar, what is it going to get backed by? And then that's where he said, when in times of crisis, what's valuable? Goods and it's goods and services, ammo, food, canned goods, stuff like that, to where it really comes down to.
But we need some sort of fungible money. Like,
of course.
It's too advantageous, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think the American dollar has been crashing for 50 years.
Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. Yeah.
It just
I'm
depends
personally
what you
skeptical
measure
of that kind
of
doomsday situation.
Like, me too.
But it's fun to
Yeah,
think about.
that's it.
Like it's a good
Of course,
hypothetical
of
to be like,
course, yeah.
what's actually valuable in my day-to-day life? Like
Exactly.
what yeah, it's a good thought exercise. And if you're a little bit more
Exactly, yeah.
anxious or like have like a prepper mentality, which I kind of have a little bit, you know, stockpiling a little bit could like help that little voice in the back of your head, like what if. But yeah.
What's hey Matt, what's Sam's Club?
Sam's
That's a
Club is
big,
like it's an outlet store. It's like an outlet store. You get stuff
right,
in bulk.
okay.
You get stuff in bulk
Yeah.
for cheap.
It's a bulk store. Yeah, I don't
Sam's
know what.
Club, Costco.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
a
So you're
membership
saying
too.
It's a
saying
membership, yeah.
people are stocking up on stuff. So you
Yeah.
think out there in the world, people are still kind of like, shit could all go pretty south still.
Rice, potatoes, you know, especially potatoes. Potatoes you can literally just throw in your yard and they'll start actually growing. Like that's the whole thing that kills me about people talking about overpopulation and food shortages and stuff like that. It's like especially in America, like there isn't going to be no food shortages because you can literally, I'm not joking, I've done it. You can literally throw a potato out in your yard and it will start growing. It will start growing. It will make many more potatoes. Like potatoes is like, you know, you got carbs, protein, fat, like it is everything.
I know that's the thing. Like sometimes when they say, "Oh, there's no baby formula in America," blah,
yeah,
blah,
yeah, yeah. It's called sucking on a tick. It's called sucking on your mother's tick.
Feed your baby some mashed up banana or something. Like there's plenty of things you can feed it besides baby formula. Which
I mean, if she survives, if she survives labor, if we're in this scenario,
she'll survive labor. It's called nature. She'll survive nature. Women are meant to give birth. She'll survive.
Dude,
she'll survive birth.
Well, before modern medicine, so many women died of childbirth, like because it's so traumatic.
Percentage wise, though, not as much as you think. Though it wasn't like an everyday occasion to where a mother. You know, dude, my mother's side of the family comes from 4 boys, 4 girls. My dad's side of the family is 2 boys, 2 girls. Previous generations before that is insane amount of kids. Like my family came to the Americas in the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s from Europe. It's like, dude, they had kids. Like there wasn't no, you know what I mean? It's not as big of a deal as most people think. You know what I mean? It's the way of life. You know what I mean? It's life.
Oh yeah. Anything else? Anything else Hedron related? I mean, we just hit I think the last major milestone of the system, getting the first liquidations done and bidded on.
Yeah. Well, I guess we have in 10 days we have the last of the launch bonuses.
That's true. That'll be the last thing, and then that's it. It's like the end of the not AA. It's like big payday. It's like then the system is just the system after that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess you have maybe like 3 days or something like that of the 2x bonus, and then it's going to go down just to the 1x bonus, and then it's just like a
man.
See what
we've come so far, Blue and Mango from those early days. I remember being in the chat like early January, late December last year, and it was just like a couple hundred people in the Telegram.
Yeah, that was some great days. Hey, there was some good, awesome chats in those some of those big brain people. Hey,
oh, what's the difference? What's the difference between mint and claim?
Oh, it's gonna be so good not have to. Yeah, I mean,
I always thought it was so simple, and I'm trying to explain it to people, and they're looking at me like a deer in headlights. I'm like, am I not explaining this correctly? Like, am I an idiot? Like, what's going on?
No. Fun memories. Fun memories. It'll be good to look back on. It'll be good to look back on in 10 years, whatever it is.
I got pretty. For people who haven't heard, we were all in the chat last night, but one thing Alex was mentioning, which I hadn't realized at all, was that because NFTs are not
fungible
money, you don't need a money transmitter's license, to sell them, and so you could set up ATMs, or you could set up some sort of thing where you literally just get. People could buy on their credit card, with their credit card, they could just buy HSIs. And he was talking about setting up ATMs and where you put in your your address, your Ethereum address, and then you just with your credit card you just buy an HSI. And that was just like, whoa, okay, that's pretty interesting.
Oh, we got a pretty important question from Hexecutioner. Do I get a copy of my HSI on the Pulse chain? You actually do not get a copy. When you wrap your hex into a smart contract on the Ethereum network, it becomes like hyper fungible, and it's no longer able to be copied when you have a system state copy. A quasi system state copy, maybe, if the dice roll is in your favor. But for the way Richard Hart's doing it, no, you won't.
Yeah, that's a lie for anyone who's noobs in here. You obviously get yourself a copy. Execution is just being a bit of a funny bugger. So yes, everything gets copied except for Hexecutioner's HSIs. He's going to be forked out.
The code reads copy system state of Ethereum except Hexecutioner's HSI.
Yeah,
it has all
it's written in the code. Yeah, it's written in the code.
Yeah,
that'd be incredible though. Hopefully, hopefully Pulse launches before September and before the whole PulseCon happens, and that'd be something else amazing too. If Alex,
it's got to happen before PulseCon, doesn't it? Oh man, T Money must be absolutely kind of shitting himself.
What's the date for that? What's the date for PulseCon?
September something.
He still has some rules.
Yeah.
He still has some wiggle room.
Yeah, it's the 6th to the 9th of September.
Not a lot of wiggle room. It's coming up. It's fucking June. We might. What is it? It's the 27th right now. We might as well just call it June now. July. So June, July, August, September.
It's got 3 months. It's got 3
Cuatro months, man. Cuatro months.
3. No, tres.
No, June, July, August. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
We'll see what happens. We'll see.
It'll just be a big hopium. Be a big hopium convention.
Yeah, it will. Yeah. But that's my whole gripe with this whole thing. Even from the very beginning, from months and months and months ago, in my head, I'm like, what the fuck are these guys doing? It's like PulseChain hasn't even launched yet. Why hey,
bold.
Why the fuck are you planning a giant conference when, in reality, in the past,
you don't even know for sure.
Hex took over a year to develop from the launch date. It was supposed to launch here, and it took a year to develop and finish. And then now you're planning a Pulse conference before the chain even launched. I'm just like, I'm not buying a ticket. I'm not buying a ticket. Are you kidding me?
I bought a ticket. I bought a ticket.
I know, I know you. Yeah, I'm glad you did. I'm glad other people did too. They believe in it, but it's not even a matter of fact of believing in PulseCon. It's just for the pure fact of hoping that PulseChain is actually launched. I hope it happens. But
I gotta say though that like just because I went to the Hex conference, the last Hex conference, and it was so much fun meeting other Hexicans. It was so special. I think it's worth going.
Next year,
just going for that.
Next year, 2023. I want to actually, because I have plenty of vacation time, and my job's great. My job's amazing for vacation time. So next year, hopefully, I want to actually, either go out, fly out, drive out, or actually come to some of these meetups and meet some people in person and stuff like that. Because it looks like a ton of fun, and we're in this for the long term, man. It's like we're in this to win it. So we're in this for, I'm in MAXI, so friggin', in my stakes before that, I'm in for 15 years. You know what I mean? So we're gonna be family. There's gonna be memories made between all of us.
Thing.
What I mean?
That's the beautiful thing when you meet other Hexicans.
Yeah,
and they are a great bunch of people, man.
Mm-hmm.
They are a very special bunch of people.
Yeah, I know the community has a bad rap, in the greater crypto sphere. I don't know if you guys heard that little debate with Hex Tangents.
Yeah, I
Hex.
listened to most of that. Yeah.
The guy, one of the guys making arguments against Hex was like the community being toxic. But like, at least I went to the crypto Sparbuck thing, because they came close to my town, and like everybody was just great. Like the community is like really awesome. Both the people I've met on stream, and like whenever you talk, people in the community talk about meeting other Hexicans, they say nothing but like amazing things about how awesome everybody is. So like that perception that people, that the outsiders have of the community is just like.
Yeah, first of all, you've got the difference between people meeting in person and people on Twitter behind their keyboards. Obviously, there's a massive difference there. Like as soon as you meet someone in person, like you just end up relating to the person and giving, like if they say something stupid, you don't care about it as much and stuff like that. But then also there's the fact that the most toxic people are going to be the ones that those people's attention are drawn to. Because they piss them off. The people who don't say anything and just like, or are polite to the person, they're not going to attract that person's attention. That it's only going to be the person who says something that annoys them. And so, of course, I mean, I think it's that guy's problem, or it's like I think it's the people who think that there's toxicity in the community. I think they're just kind of haven't got a good assessment of the actual community. And it's always impossible to measure those kinds of things, you know what I mean? Like, and there's no way of controlling it anyway. So what are you going to do? Like, I mean, people have been, the whole time I've been in Hex, people have been telling people how to act. It's like, good luck with that. Like, people can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Hey, Yoden, awesome to see you, brother. Yoden's an awesome, cool dude. Can you elaborate on the fact that NFTs do not require money transmitter license? That's the most exciting thing I've heard in a long time. That's pretty much the information. Alex was talking about it last night. So whereas, we couldn't just sell crypto like by taking people's credit card info. Like you have to have a special money transmitter license, which is what like Transact and exchanges and that I guess do. So, but with NFTs, anybody can. There's not a money, and so anybody can sell them. And so, we could sell NFTs to take people's cash,
and
it's all just a technical. It's basically just it's a technicality thing. That's all it really comes down to. It's just a technicality.
But it makes it pretty huge in terms of onboarding people. Like,
it'd be amazing if it happens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, even if you think about it, the NFTs, like the HSI stakes that are wrapped in an NFT, there's really even nothing in there either because the hex is burnt. It's just a wallet with private keys that the hex contract has recorded that is owed this much every day. That's really all there is. There's nothing actually in there. There's no actual financial thing like in the wallet. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's all just information.
Yep, it's just info. Sorry, you're saying something else? I cut you off.
Me? Or no, I'm just like trying to read comments and shut stuff up.
There's something else I was going to say, but I forgot what it was. I'll think of it later.
Joe wants to give a few people a hug. His other gun aficionados.
A couple of no homo squeezes.
It's so weird for us, this big kind of like turn on thing that, like for Australians, it's so weird the big thing Americans have for their guns. But I kind of understand it a lot more now, And although, I can't stand guns and I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine like shooting someone. I mean, and I've just never, the only experience I had a gun was like.
Yeah, but the thing is though, don't imagine shooting someone. It's just, hang on, train.
Yeah, don't imagine shooting somebody blue. That's it. Just don't.
Yeah,
can't imagine it. Just don't. Just don't.
Yeah, don't. Damn, I did.
Don't imagine shooting someone. Just imagine you're being attacked by people, by a person or a group of person who's trying to.
It's not even that. It's what it is. It's the making government scared of the people. That's the use case. It's making governments scared of the people.
Well, they should be.
Exactly. That's the use case. That's the use case I see for people owning guns.
Yeah.
It's not that they can shoot them or they can like like
We don't
do
work.
anything
Yeah,
with them.
we don't.
It's
we
just
don't
that
work
it's
for
just the governments can't
we don't
feel
work
that
for the
they haven't
government.
got as much license to
Yeah,
do whatever
we
the
don't
fuck they
work for
want
the
to do.
government. The government works for us, and for America, that's a very important thing that needs to be ingrained into people's heads is that we do not work for them. They work for us. They work for the people, by the people. And that's been forgotten slightly. It's been
yeah, it's been completely eroded. Absolutely. It's like ridiculous. We've got bugger all choice on our elections. You can vote for Tweedledum or Tweedledee. They both pretty much do the same thing. Like it's kind of like who has the stupider idea, Like who's worse at managing things?
Yeah.
But shooting is fun though. It's a sport. It's a sport though. Like it's fun shooting clays. It's fun like hunting birds. It's sustenance. It's for sustenance. If you're a hunter, it's for meat. And it's for sport. Long range shooting, sports shooting. Like it's fun. Like it's actually really, really, really fun if you actually do it.
It's a whole hobby. Gun enthusiast. It's a whole hobby.
A little expensive hobby, but it's fun though. It's fun.
But apparently those guns store value pretty well. Apparently.
Yeah, no.
The price stays up.
Not really though. Like, believe it or not, guns are actually pretty cheap too. Like, right now the market on new guns are a little expensive, but it's not out of the range of to where you're lower class person, poverty level can afford a gun. Like there are guns out there to where poverty level people can afford guns if they're legally able to buy them. You can buy a gun. On the street it's more expensive. Like if you're not allowed to buy a gun and you're trying to buy a gun, it's way more expensive than if you're actually able to buy a gun. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Not that I know that for a fact.
I was in New York. I was in New York years ago at the Brooklyn. What's it called? The Jamaican Festival in Brooklyn. I can't remember what it's called. It's like, and I think maybe that's what it is, the Jamaican Festival. And these two women, like I was sitting there with this chick, and we were just hanging out, and these two women sort of started getting into an argument, and then one just put her hand into her handbag.
Yeah.
The whole area, everything just changed because people saw it, and the woman who was arguing with her as well, like it just like chilled everything like full on.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense.
I like that the season finale of South Park when they all have like guns out and they're all arguing and pointing it at each other, and then they all make up and they get through the argument and get on the same side because they all have guns. It's really funny. I don't know.
If you know someone else has a pistol,
standoff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, someone else has a pistol. That argument gets resolved. Yeah, that argument gets resolved very quickly. Very quickly. Yeah. No. It's like eventually I want to end up moving out of New Jersey. I want to go to like the gun laws here are fucking stringent and tight. Like I'm waiting on some permits right now for more handguns, but it's like it takes forever. To where if I was in Pennsylvania or anywhere else, basically anywhere else, I could literally just buy a handgun because I'm legally allowed to. Like I'm not a felon, so I'm allowed to just buy a handgun. But in New Jersey, if I want to buy from an actual licensed store with FFL, I have to buy a permit from the state first. But if you do a private sale, you can just buy a pistol. So like say Blue Bum lives in New Jersey and he has a pistol, I could just buy that pistol from Blue Bum, no problem. But if you're just trying to buy it from an actual store, if you're trying to buy a brand new pistol, you have to go through this whole long process. And I'm going on over 2 months now, waiting for 2 more permits to buy 2 more pistols, and it's just a hassle. And I'm legally allowed to buy pistols whenever I want. It's just that it's a whole bullshit liberal process of buying
red basically bureaucracy, red tape kind
of
thing.
I could buy as many rifles as I want. I could go to the store right now and buy two rifles, and it'll take maybe 2-3 days for my NICS check to go through, which is the national background check for buying guns, buying long guns, buying anything. That's what kills me about all this shit on Twitter and everywhere else. We need like national background checks.
Hey, hey, Mango, I've got to
shit.
shut you up, man. Yeah, you're going on a bit, mate. And I just want to welcome Gafir. Welcome to the Gafar. Sorry, not Gafir. Why did I say that? Gafar, welcome to the chat, brother. How you going? Can you speak?
Audio
Gafar?
on?
We can't
Audio
hear
on?
you.
Sorry to go off back.
Well,
sorry. I know.
Yeah, we can't hear you, mate.
Sorry.
Oh, what? No. I was just joking, dude. I just wanted to get. He'd been
Lord
sitting there a while, and I
Hedron,
was
can you
like,
hear- Lord
"We're being
Hedron,
rude."
can you
But
hear us?
Lord Hedron, no, he's out.
Oh.
He's gonna try to come back in. I
It's
guess.
too bad. I've never met him before. Been cool to.
Oh,
cool to chat
Gafar's
with him for a
amazing,
little bit.
dude. He's
Yeah, he's a
amazing,
cool
dude. Yeah,
guy.
great.
You would have heard him.
Yeah,
He's a
he's cool.
Jamaican dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've heard him in chats and stuff. I don't think I've like personally interacted with him. There's a lot of people like just you see around, but you never quite like get to talk to them directly.
Yeah.
So you're in dentistry school, are you, Crypto Sloth?
Yeah. I'm a dental student. I'm about halfway through right now.
Wow.
I'm in the middle of my summer.
What made
semester
you?
right now.
And what made you choose dentistry? That's a random thing
Yeah.
to choose to study.
Well, I got introduced to it because like both my parents are dentists, so that's how I like found out about
Oh,
it.
right.
But
It's a family
can you guess-
business.
can you guess where they met? No, no, it's just it's a super tangible skill that you can help people directly. Like somebody
Yeah.
comes in with pain, and then you like with your actual hands can fix the pain at least acutely, and then walk out without pain. Like I think sometimes we underestimate how debilitating like oral facial pain can be, and like just the inability to eat and stuff, and just having that ability to fix those kind of problems is really appealing to me, as well as being able to give people a smile. That's pretty rewarding.
Nice.
And it's just a skill that I want to cultivate and be able to make a living off of. And with hopefully the financial freedom I'll be able to get with Hex, be able to give it out more and kind of help people who typically couldn't afford dental care get some dental care, because it's life-changing stuff, honestly. But yeah, that's kind of the nuts and bolts, the overview of why I chose to be a dentist.
Yeah,
Nice
cool.
one. Hey, Gafar, can we hear you this time? We can't.
Nope. No audio.
Nothing. What's going on, bro? Can you speak? I think it must be your end. Have you tried clicking that little cog and just looking what your audio input is? Maybe.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do it on your computer side too.
Maybe the permissions are give like browser needs to give permissions to the microphone.
Oh, does that happen sometimes? It's pretty easy. I just normally go to that cog and then you click audio, and then it's got this. It shows the audio input, and that's pretty much it. It always seems to work. Anyway.
But yeah, I'm also pretty into research. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but like benchmark.
Yeah, you were talking about that. Yeah, in your chat. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Research what?
Yeah, I've done a couple of different avenues of research, but like I really enjoy like cell tissue biology. So I did some cell biology in undergrad, and then before I got into dental school, I did 2 years of neuroscience and neurobiology research at the National Institute on Drug Abuse. And then now I'm doing some tissue engineering research in an orthodontics lab. So like the overarching goal of my current lab. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just think the brain is pretty amazing. Hey, like, how does consciousness come out of that?
That was a wild job, because like the second month I started that job, I was doing like craniotomies on rats and like injecting viruses like into their brains and stuff like that. It was so much fun though. It was a ton of fun, and like And that was my favorite part of that. The surgeries were a lot of fun because we did like behavioral stuff. So the lab was like a lab that studied dopamine as well as like decision making, specifically within a certain brain region called the orbital frontal cortex. And rats actually have the same brain region that we do. And so we had different behavior boxes where we could observe their behavior. And then this is actually really cool. I don't get to talk about my science too much. I'll bore you guys for like 2-3 minutes.
No, I love it.
But,
I love it.
I don't know how familiar you guys are with how neurons work. But essentially, the way that they work is like there's an influx of ions like sodium into the neuron, and that propagates a signal, and that's how they communicate with each other. Well, a different set of scientists figured out how to create genetically altered viruses that have the genome of a certain kind of ion channel that can be injected into neurons, where if you shine a light on them, they open and you can activate neurons by shining light on these specific channels. And so what we're able to do is inject this virus into specific brain regions, and then those neurons express that specific receptor. And then we attach fiber optic lines into that specific brain region, and then we can shine a light into their brains and then turn a brain region on or off in real time. So like if you have a specific behavior that's dependent on a certain type of brain region that was demonstrated previously, you can turn that brain region on or off and see if that region is necessary. Turn it off is what we did. Turn it off and see if it's necessary for that type of decision making. So that was like the kind of foundation of the things that I was doing there, and it was like super cool. It was so much fun.
When you're saying
what really amazes me is the plasticity of the brain. Like have you heard there was this guy who was blind, and he literally didn't have eyeballs. His eyeballs had been taken out of his thing, and because that happened very early on in his life, he developed echolocation. So he'd make these clicking sounds that would echo off, and he got to the point of being able to like know where he was in space, where he could climb trees and ride bikes and do all sorts of stuff because he'd do this echolocation. And the way he described it was he kind of saw the world as this kind of fuzzy gray place. And then they did MRIs on him to see which part of his brain lights up. And they passed like things like a sign in front of him, and he'd do his echolocation, and the part of his brain that lit up was the visual cortex.
Yeah.
So he was literally he was literally having the experience of seeing, but without he does not have eyeballs. He was only getting the information from the sound, echolocation.
Yeah, stuff like that's amazing.
Yeah.
Hexixture, suicidal rat, not suicidal rat. Oops. Yeah. No, that stuff's super cool. Like split brain experiments, hallucinogens on how they affect neuroplasticity. That's super cool. I created a cool project at my time at the NIH about hallucinogens that unfortunately I didn't get to finish because of a certain world event that happened to happen at that specific time where we weren't allowed to go places. But yeah.
So what was the experiment that you were going to set up?
Oh yeah, so that specific behavioral task that we had the rats do, my idea, well, it replicated decision making, and so because this was the National Institute on Drug Use, looking into like the inner workings of addiction was obviously really important to us, and that specific behavioral task kind of mimicked or gave us the ability to see how addiction how drug exposure affected choices. So my idea was to get the rats basically hopped up on cocaine, expose them to cocaine, and then see how they behave. Yeah, I use government money to buy cocaine. Like, who else can say that? Yeah. Talk about, so it is a specific exposure paradigm called self-exposure, where the rats would self-administer themselves cocaine, and then I would see how they behaved within the specific behavioral task. And the neurophysiological underpinnings of cocaine addiction work via the serotonergic system, specifically like the serotonin 2A and 2A receptor, and the physiological state that changes when you take cocaine that produces its pathological effects on behavior. Actually, hallucinogens like LSD and DMT do the neurophysiological opposite of that. So what happens is these two receptors, 5-HT2A, which is serotonin 2A, gets upregulated, or more of them are expressed or seen on the cell surfaces, and then those are excitatory receptors, so they'll cause downstream of activations of different parts of the brain. And then there's another receptor, the serotonin 2C receptor, which when that's activated, it's inhibitory. So it inhibits the things that the 2A receptor activates. And cocaine, you get an increase in the 2A and the decrease in the 2C. But when you expose, when you give LSD or DMT, it does the opposite. The 2A receptor goes down and the 2C receptor goes up. So theoretically, you could heal cocaine addiction, or the pathological behavior traits of cocaine addiction that are tied directly to these receptors, by hallucinogen administration. And I wanted to demonstrate that to a very fine level where, like, I give the rest cocaine, I demonstrate that they are behaving pathologically, or they're not able to value choices, specifically not able to appropriately value choices as when they weren't on cocaine, and then heal that with hallucinogens.
Yeah,
that was my project.
I agree, Java. Yeah, I agree, Java. I like cocaine also, but like, have you, like, besides from cocaine though, has it done, like, have you? I would more so say, has the experiment done with heroin? Because I would look at heroin as more detrimental to society.
I know that they've done. I know that they had incredible. I know that there's at least one study which had incredible success with solving alcoholism with LSD. And they got something like a 75% success rate or something like that.
Yeah, there's really good clinical evidence showing the effectiveness of hallucinogens in treating just addiction in general, which I think is
okay.
cool.
And often ibogaine is often
ibogaine was a big one. Yeah, ibogaine was a big one too. It's still illegal. A lot of shit's illegal in the U.S., but I hope to see that the United States will be the forefront for medical research dealing with, you know, these illegal substances now, because there is huge medical, you know, benefits to them. A lot of them, especially dealing with depression and PTSD, addiction, and stuff like that. Like it's pretty significant. It's pretty significant.
And the cool thing, you'll like this,
psilocybin as well too. Yeah.
The original paper that I read that gave me the idea for this experiment was actually a paper about how hallucinogens promote neuroplasticity. Like literally at the cellular level, at the neuron level, neurons begin to branch out more and start budding connections to other neurons when they're exposed to classic hallucinogen molecules, LSD, DMT, DOI, etc. Yeah,
that's so interesting. Yeah,
it really is. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I spent 2 years doing. That's a little bit of my research background, and then now I'm doing some other stuff.
Cool, man.
For tissue engineering, which I'm really excited about.
And that's more so dealing with like gum health and stuff like that, or like deterioration of gums and stuff like that, or just like the biome in the mouth and stuff like that.
Ish. That's more in the periodontics section. I'm in the orthodontics section. And my lab right now specifically is interested in being able to take a sample of muscle tissue from a patient who has like a craniofacial deformity, like they're missing muscle or something like, and then being able to take that sample and grow it into a fully functioning muscle for implantation. So we're working towards creating essentially like a recipe to be able to produce fast, cheap, and effective auto transplants of craniofacial muscle.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we're really far away from that. We're still at the very preclinical stages, and trying to optimize the protocol. But like, it's really a really fun thing to be working towards, for sure.
Oh yeah, man, that's awesome, man. That's crazy.
But that's enough of me talking about my science stuff. I appreciate you listening to that. Anybody who listens to me talking about my research, I appreciate it.
Science.
Yes, sir.
This is the forefront, man. This is the forefront.
Oh, Java will appreciate
Who else would be doing it if it wasn't for people like you? Like, you know.
Java would appreciate this, but the person who got me really inspired to do science was back in elementary school watching a lot of Bill Nye the Science Guy videos. That's a joke. That's a joke for him.
I've heard of him. But I don't actually. I don't know who he is, or I've never actually seen. He had a TV show or something, did he?
Yeah. He had his own TV show where like he broke down like basic scientific stuff, scientific principles. Yes, Bill Nye's a fucking liar. Is a liar. Yeah, but yeah,
there's a lot of fraud in science as well. You've really got to
That's very true.
Go deep and into stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And things under the guise of being scientific have been an excuse to do all sorts of crazy shit.
No, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. But yeah, that's a little bit more about me. For those who've been sticking around for that much, you get to know a little bit more about me and my day-to-day life.
Yeah, nice one. It's always yeah.
You're a young guy too, right? You're just like how far into you're not in like medical school or anything like that. Like how far are you into schooling and stuff?
I'm halfway through dental school, so it's a 4-year program to get your DDS, and so I'm halfway through. I'm in my mid-20s.
Okay. Did you take a bit of time off to travel the world or anything like that in between high school?
Not to travel the world. I took 3 years off from undergrad. Did 1 year teaching high school biology, and then 2 years of the research at the NIH.
Okay. Out in the real world a bit. Nice.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep. So yeah, that's. And now I'm just back in school, back with my nose in a book.
And so when you're at the jam with the other dentists, is it all dentists doing the jams? Is it?
Yeah, these are all like my dental school buddies. Yeah.
So what kind of music do you guys play?
Oh man, so early on, one of my friends has a lot of different instruments in she brought a lot of instruments with her, and so there's like piano, bass, guitar, and then we bought a drum set for me because I play drums. And so we just play like they'll pick a chord progression, they'll go, I put a beat over it, and we'll just start playing. Like there's like no structure or anything like that. It's just a fun time. And then we get a couple of our other friends from the class who like play guitar and like piano and stuff. Yeah, nice. So it's just casual. Like after a long week or something, we'll get jam for an hour and a half. It's something I enjoy doing with my friends.
I think jamming and hanging out with people like that has been some of the funnest times in my life. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, what do you play, Blue? What do you play?
I play guitar, play ukulele. I used to do capoeira, so I play a whole lot of different percussion and instruments and stuff like that. Yeah. I just dabble basically.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to play LSD and go to all the music festivals. Enjoy all the music going on. I was a lab rat.
You're trying to get in on an experiment.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's funny.
I actually did play the drums. I was actually a drum player for probably maybe 6 or 7 years. And then I broke my back, and then it was actually too much. It was too much on my lower back. I broke my back between.
Playing drums?
No, I folded in half backwards on a trampoline.
Yeah. I'm glad you're not paralyzed, dude.
Yeah.
How'd you do that? You were trying to do a backflip. Were you trying to do a backsolt or something?
I was doing a backflip, and I jumped too close to the edge, and I folded in half on the back of the trampoline on the outside. Then I didn't go to a doctor until a year later, and he told me that
I was walking around with a broken back.
Yeah. That was spinal.
Sometimes that can actually work better for you.
I have spinal
just-
stenosis and a herniated disc, like for the rest of my
obviously
life.
not that time. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm used to the pain now, so it's no big deal. Luckily, I never got hooked on painkillers, so I'm not a junkie or anything like that. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, not so good. Not so good.
That's good.
But
That's good. That
yeah. So playing the drums hurt my back. Needless to say, after that, so I stopped playing the drums.
dude,
Moral of
sitting
the
on those
story,
thrones,
yeah,
they hurt your back, man.
What was that?
I said sitting on those thrones, the drum thrones, like they like
Yeah,
the
well,
back support, like it hurts. Like, yeah, it's no joke.
No, yeah, well, exactly, yeah, because you're sitting up straight, and
It's
especially
gonna-
dealing with the hi-hat and the bass pedal and everything like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you got to change it up, like learn the glockenspiel or merengue or something like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I'm doing
rhythmic.
alright.
as well.
Executioner's calling you out, Mango Junkie.
What do you say?
You
Somebody
tried to
go tell
S
the
your
true
own.
story. You tried it
Easy.
best.
Easy executioner. That's a very fertile imagination you've got.
This is a family-friendly show. We talk about giving animals drugs here. We don't talk about that
Yeah,
kind
right?
of filth.
Yeah, I'm gonna be hitting up Crypto Sloth after the stream ends. Yeah.
Yeah, after the
Yeah.
everybody on the replay and stuff.
LSD and cocaine.
What state are you
in? Dude, I'm not a government employee anymore. I can't help you. Wink.
Yeah, Sloth, let's do a
Yeah.
study, man. Let's do a study.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's fine.
What happens when you give hexagons LSD?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The effect of cocaine
And then you just have
hexagons.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll
exactly.
get my cohort at PulseCon because everyone's gonna need something when PulseChain doesn't launch.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Tripping in Vegas. That'd be interesting.
Just going around dosing people, just doing little drops in their drinks and
Yeah.
stuff. It'll be a great time. It'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Oh,
Yeah, I had a friend like that. I had a friend who would do that. He would walk around at parties. and he would
Really?
just
Oh,
talk-
that's bad for.
Oh yeah.
That's
He would
bad
just-
for.
Yeah, I know.
Oof.
He would just tap people's arms with his dabber, giving people a dose at a time. They wouldn't even know.
Oh.
What?
Like, just
Dude,
how you
that's
going?
horrible.
And that's bad, man.
That's pretty bad. That's not
Yeah.
good.
Oh, good times. Good times.
Good times.
Good times.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
New
good
Jersey.
times, yeah. It's
The
hard.
party
it's
scene in New
hard-
Jersey.
It's harmless. It's harmless.
People randomly
Yeah.
tripping.
Yeah. It's harmless.
It can also freak people out a bit if they don't.
It does. It does sometimes.
Don't know what the fuck's
I feel
happening
bad
to
for
them.
some people sometimes.
Like,
I saw a couple of people having some like serious like meltdowns and
Yeah.
freakouts and stuff like that. You know, they took.
Yeah, I
too
mean,
much.
if you
much.
didn't know you took it, and all of a sudden you just started tripping, you'd be, what the fuck's going on? Like, and if you didn't even know
Yeah.
about what LSD was or anything like that,
Yeah.
and then you get the fear going and the adrenaline going, and all of a sudden it turns into a really fucking.
Yeah. I always loved it. I more so like mushrooms as opposed to acid because mushrooms.
You know what's the
was more of
best? The best is when you have
What?
both. That combination.
The
Mushrooms
candy
and
flip?
LSD.
Oh yeah,
Is that called a
I never.
candy- I thought a candy flip was like MDMA and
Ecstasy.
acid or something.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's like E. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nah, man.
I never did the-
Mushies and LSD. Oh, it's a beautiful combo.
They're very different though. That's like I never did both of them at the same time, but they're very different comparables there. So that'd be an interesting.
They're different and
experience.
also very similar. Yeah. And also depends what
Yeah.
mushies you have. Like different mushies have very different vibe to them.
Yeah, no. That was one of my mushrooms. Psilocybin is like my favorite compared to everything. But
Me too, man.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of people get fucked. Like I've known tons of people who've died like overdose and from dope and heroin and stuff like that. So like
Yeah, you
Never-
can't,
it's
you
like-
can't really mess
it sucks.
around
It
with.
sucks. Yeah.
You can't really mess around
di-
with
they-
street stuff that comes in like powders anymore. With like the synthetic opioids that they'll just cut with everything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you don't know what
fentanyl,
the fuck you're
stuff like
getting,
that. Like you could think you're getting one thing, even like street Adderall or something like that comes in pills. Like in like China and stuff, they'll like some of it will be cut or like mixed in the same stuff as these synthetic opioids, and like just a small amount
Yeah.
can kill you. It's like you
Yeah.
like nowadays you cannot mess around with like illicit black market drugs as
Yeah,
much as you
yeah.
used to be able to.
That actually kind of like that actually kind of happened to me once too. I was working at a festival I forgot the name of it. It's a huge like, you know, electric music festival in New York. It was in it was in Brooklyn, but you know, Molly was big in the area, and I was working at the festival, and I was working at a concession stand. This was years and years and years ago. But somebody's like, "Oh, like, you want like a bag of Molly?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, of course." So we got a bag of Molly. So we're like, you know, dabbing into it, and I'm just like, "Oh man, I'm fucking tired, dude. Like this stuff sucks." Later to find out it was fucking heroin. The guy gave us a bag of fucking heroin. We're sitting there fucking sucking down a bag of heroin. So it's like, you gotta be careful.
Naughty.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I feel great, but I'm tired. It's like,
I feel great, but man, I need to take a nap.
Yeah, you know. But now you have all the crazy shit going around with the fentanyl and stuff like that. You know, like people get crazy though. But
Gafar's here again. Gafar, how you going? You working this time? Oh man, we can't hear you, brother. You're not coming through. I have no idea. I think it's got to be on your end, mate, because it all looks exactly the same as everybody else on my end.
Yeah.
You know, the first time I ever like even heard about LSD, I was like 18 years old, and I like went to America, to the United States, and my cousins took me to this is my first time traveling and stuff, and my cousins took me to a Grateful Dead concert.
Oh, nice! Whoa!
In Madison, in Madison, and like I'd never even seen hippies or known about hippies or anything.
Oh, really?
And
wow!
Yeah, and so
the Deadheads.
This concert, yeah, man. Everyone's dancing like hippie.
Yeah,
dancing.
Man, great time, dude.
And I was just like, whoa! And this beautiful girl, just ran up to me and just like threw her arms around me, and just gave me this huge hug and was like, "Hey, have you got any acid?" No idea what she was talking about. No idea she was talking about or anything. I soon learned.
Yeah. So do you remember? So what do you remember? Like, was that like? Did you end up getting like?
I remember
taking any hits that night or no?
Not that night. I remember thinking that. The music was really boring. Sorry, guys.
Jam band, yeah.
Eventually, I went and did all sorts. I did a big road trip through America and like drove from New Orleans to San Francisco, and in San Francisco,
holy shit,
I ended up. And this is in like the late '80s, and so in San Francisco there was a ton of really cheap acid, and I got into it. Like I was tripping nearly every day. And then like taking double the next day, and then, like I had a job, and I'd be going to work tripping, and like I was just like I just loved. I fell in love with LSD in San Francisco.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
I
didn't know. I didn't realize you liked to party, man.
He's a free spirit, man. Of course,
this man likes to party.
Who doesn't
anybody appearance fool you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're a world traveler, you like to party, man. Nothing wrong with that.
I loved LSD. That was awesome. But mushies were really special. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And like that's like I don't.
It's more body.
Mushrooms,
I think it's more.
Yeah, and like I don't consider mushrooms like a party drug necessarily either. Like especially if you're taking like heavy doses, like that, you got to be prepared for taking like.
You know what? When I actually party, when I go out partying, I like to be pretty straight nowadays. Like,
well, nowadays, yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, like I just like to be awake and I don't get into speed or cocaine or anything. I can't stand that shit, actually, to be honest. Like every now and then maybe have some. Yeah. I prefer us to be straight and just to relate to people and to dance my ass off, basically.
Yeah. It's like kind of a grow out thing. It's like you kind of grow out of it. Like I grew out of my party. I'm 36 now. I grew out of partying hard when I was like 26, 27. I think that was like when I really, really pulled the reins back, and I was like, I got to do something here because I'm having too much fun and not accomplishing a lot, you know. so from there I was like, all right, pump the brakes. Enough of this cocaine, enough of these freaking acid. Like let's just hang on a little bit. Let's hang out a little bit here, you know. But I think it's more so an age thing that happens too. It's like What am I doing? What's going on? And stuff like that. It's great and all. It's an amazing experience, but the people like even when I say deadheads, it's like when you go to festivals now, you will see certain people who I call it. What I say is they gone too far. It's like they went too far and now they're stuck. It's like you're stuck in that. It's like it is. It's like it's not even necessarily being too. It's not even necessarily being like shot out from too much like hallucinogens or anything like that, but it's like you've gone too far to where like that's what life is now, as opposed to being connected with reality and separating the party from reality, because that can fuck up a lot of people too. It almost happened to me a couple times to where some of my heavier mushroom trips to where I was, I thought I was literally dead, and this is what life was going to continue to be, was this perpetual cartoon land. Like I'm just in cartoon land, and this is what just life is now, and then slowly you come out of cartoon land, and then all, the geometrical shapes stop appearing in front of your face, and you come back to reality and stuff like that. But some people get stuck there, and
it's a tricky one though. Like I had this housemate years and years ago. And a whole lot of us went to a festival. We took LSD. Everyone was taking loads of stuff and da da da. She took some, and she was never really the same after.
Yeah,
she was just way more kind of slow in her life, and just way more. But it was almost like she was very happy though. She was a different person, and so the people around her were worried about her because she'd changed so much. But she was just in bliss land, Yeah. So I don't know how you can kind of
but that's
say
when
whether that's good or bad. You know what I mean? That's
exactly. But that's where the debate starts, is because then from there the debate starts as, in my eyes at least, and this is where I guess the debate start for me, is the contributing member society debate comes in, is when you're shot out and you're not a contributing member of society anymore, and to where you are a contributing member of society. Because that's big for me.
How do you value that? You know what I mean? Like, how do you value whether someone has?
Well, that's
how
debate.
do you judge? How do you judge or decide? Like, that to me is unfair. I think everyone. I think every single human being has value. And like, I think it's kind of.
Well, that's debate. That's why I said that's where debate starts. Is because for someone, for me, like I partied my ass off. I really partied my ass off, but I always had a job. I always worked, and I always contributed to. I was always a productive member of society, to where I actually had a productive job, and that's like I'm a mule. Like I'm a worker. I lift things up. I put them down. Like I know a lot of people are not like that, but that's who I am. That's how I was raised, and that's just how I lived my life. And then you have other people who are the dentists, performers, salesmen. So that's where you all have to bring it. It all gets chopped up into one society, and a debate has to be.
But even people like I used to take, one of my jobs years ago was taking care of intellectually disabled people. And it's kind of like, well, how do you ever justify them having value to society? And I would say, they were so valuable, so valuable in terms of like the perspective that they gave you, in terms of the love that they showed, they expressed.
Yeah.
And so like, that's why I think everybody in the world has value.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So like,
regardless
of how much they're kind of contributing to society, and because it's how do you measure that? Like.
No, yeah, I hear you. I'm not trying to say like let's
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just kind of pointing.
Yeah, careful, Mango. You're gonna start arguing for eugenics before you know it. You're gonna talk yourself
No.
This is recorded, man. Be careful.
Right. We kill everyone except for the dentists, the people who lift things and
Yeah.
performers.
Yeah. Where's that
Yeah.
damn court gesture? He
You
didn't make me laugh.
you guys need me. You guys need me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Oh man, I haven't been to a dentist in so long. It's ridiculous.
Oh, you should go, man. You should go get a checkup.
Oh, I don't know, man. Yeah, you reckon?
Do you
I
need
don't-
to?
I kind of no. Well, no, I haven't got any pain or anything. I don't.
There you go.
you
You're
know.
good. You're good.
My teeth are
Just
good. They're fine.
General
I don't know.
maintenance. Get all the gunk out. Make sure everything's going all right.
I floss.
That's good.
I
That's
have,
good.
and I have one of those electric
Floss.
toothbrushes, which is like the full on, like the dentists have, but I've got my own kind of.
If
thing
you're
with it.
I mean, you're brushing and flossing regularly, like you probably
I use
won't have
I use
any
charcoal as well. I use charcoal to
Mhm.
brush with. I like that.
Mhm.
It's like scrapes away a bit.
Yeah.
But the reason you would want to
Charcoal
go
is nice.
specifically. Oh,
Hey, Gaffer.
Oh, is that far?
Yeah, I think I heard his voice. Oh,
Yeah.
hey,
On my
yeah. Hey, you're here, brother.
How you boys
How's
doing?
it going? Excellent.
I'm here, man.
Yeah.
Long time, but it's good to be here. Mango, you sound good. You look good,
Hey.
my friend. It's nice to see.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Slot, nice to see you too.
hey, Kafar, it's a pleasure to meet you, man.
Yeah, pleasure to be here with you guys too, man. Bloom, I've been wanting to come on for so long. I don't know why the mic and the camera would work. Yeah, execution. I'm here,
What-
man.
So what was it that you finally got the mic to work?
So I have two laptops,
Make a
right?
drink.
And I do a little crypto stuff on one of the laptops, so I'm very restricted by the stuff that I do on it. So I had all of these plugins and things that were just limited. Like even Google Chrome doesn't work like Chrome on a regular, right? I had to go into some settings and change some stuff. It's working out. Yeah, but I removed all the crypto apps. I removed all of those. But yeah, I'm here.
Beautiful. Selex alias d'or. What are you saying? Bloom est de plus en plus hit. C'est quoi hit?
What?
That's one of the comments.
What does that mean?
In French.
I don't know. Well, I don't know what it means. Like the last word.
Yes, capital français.
It says, ouais, je parle français. Bluebum is more and more it. I'm not sure what it means though.
I don't know what height is. Yeah. Huh. Maybe you're bigger. Huh.
Oui, je parle français, hablo español. Mi español ha mejorado mucho ahora, viviendo
Sí.
en Colombia. Sí.
Oh, ¿cuándo viviste en Colombia?
Hace 2
How
meses
long?
ahora.
How long?
Sí,
Wow.
hace 2 meses viene y vengo y vení y sí, no estoy seguro cuánto tiempo queda aquí, pero me gusta mucho.
Mi padre es de Colombia. Sí.
Ah, qué bueno.
Pero no soy un hablante nativo, pero he estado aprendiendo para comunicar de mis pacientes de México y que habla español.
Ah, qué bueno. ¿Y qué parte de, o qué lugar o ciudad naciste
Buga.
tu padre?
Well, no,
¿Dónde? Bogotá. No.
Nació en New Orleans, pero
Okay.
vivió en un pueblo cerca de Buga.
¿De dónde? Buga.
Buga. B-U-G-A.
Buga.
Buga.
Oh, Buga. Okay. Sí.
But yeah. I'm not very good. My Spanish isn't super great.
Execution has got terrible Spanish. Pero.
I have a big cat in the face. Hey man, as long as it's not a Red Bull can, I guess you're fine. But
yeah. High. It is high, is it? Okay, en français. C'est argot? What the hell's that? What language is that? You know, I went to have you guys heard of Vanuatu?
Mm-mm.
I've heard the country, yeah, Vanuatu.
Yeah, it's a country in the South Pacific. It's a set of like 94 islands or something like that. And they speak this thing called Bislama, which is kind of a pidgin English. And like I went and traveled there and like basically picked the language up in like 2 weeks. It's the most awesome language. Because it's really similar to kind of English.
Really?
But
You said you picked it up in 2
you
weeks?
just-
That's impressive.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, it was kind of, it was a language that was made. Actually, Gafar, do you speak pidgin English?
We call it Creole here, in Jamaica.
Creole.
So yes, I do. It's never made any sense to talk like it in the main chat rooms because I'm like, there are like 12 Jamaicans in there, and I'm the only one that's always on. But yeah, we do.
Do you want to give us a little example of some of it?
Give me a topic to talk about, and I'll talk like a Jamaican.
Oh, talk about Hedron.
Are you guys ready for this? All right. So I'll explain it after. So on March 26th, there was this project called Hedron that was launched, and everybody could go and buy it. And that's Jamaican with English infused in it, right? If I'm talking straight Creole, we would say, on March 26, 2022, this project come out with name Hedron, and you could buy it on Uniswap or on OKX or on any decentralized exchange where you feel like buy it pan. It's like, yeah. So the first one I did was for corporate session. I'm in a meeting. You make sure your A's are sharp and you drop the R's a little bit. So if your name is like Mark, they don't say Mark, they say Mark. You know, it's like you enforce the A's, kind of shorten the R's. And if it's just straight Creole in name Mark, there is almost no R in it at all. It's just like that. It's a weird language. If you spend time here though, you could probably pick it up in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
It's
that was the
pretty
thing
cool.
about and that was the thing about Bislama as well. It's like a trading language. So it is a language that people can pick up really, really quickly because they need it.
Jawa said I should tell you the history of the Buffalo Soldiers. Jawa, they all died.
As a short.
That's a quick version of it. They all died. They had a struggle. Talk about Bob Marley. He was awesome. Bob Marley was before I was born. I'm 32. He was a Jamaican guy who he was Jamaican, but he wasn't. I think that guy vibrated at a different frequency. He did things a little bit differently, and it worked well for him. And it changed a lot of lives. Like if I'm angry right now, you guys heard me do this sometimes in the Hedron chat room. I just start singing a Bob Marley song, and my day is made. And my day may be going absolutely terribly, but like you play one of his songs, and it literally changes your spiritual frequency. He was amazing, and to this very day, he's the best, one of the best artists to ever come out of Jamaica, and his music is well listened to worldwide, everywhere. It's known.
Have you seen the movie The Harder They Come?
I've seen it so many times that you can tell me any scene and I can talk you through it. It's a fun movie, actually. It's a very nice.
That's
watch.
one of my favorite movies as well. Yeah, with a killer soundtrack.
Yes,
soundtrack.
Send out one bad man, and then him just get shot, and it's that was nice.
Yeah, that was the first film ever made in Jamaica, huh?
Yeah, and we've had that a few other Jamaican films, and a few James Bond stuff have been done here. Like even the last James Bond has scenes from Jamaica in it. But the thing about film in this country is that though we have stuff like Harder They Come, it's sad to know that we don't get more content out more often. And we're big on culture and art down here, but the budget and to sustain it as an ecosystem, because I do film too sometimes, right? But I can tell you, like it's pretty hard to get films out of this country. But it's very easy to do films here once you have the production.
I think it's hard to do films in any countries, to be honest. Like it's so expensive.
True. Yeah. Well, a friend of mine who runs this company called Darega Entertainment. Dario equal. It just stands for Dario, Dario, Ronaldo, and Gafar, because we were friends in college. But we put a company together because we saw this problem of even if we wanted to do shorts, like 15-minute shorts, and produce those, like even if you were able to successfully find the budget sometimes, which even took you a year to do, after you get the film produced, where do you publish it? What do you do with it? So we started researching film festivals and stuff. And like, that's one of the things I want to do with crypto. I want to make sure that things like that can happen for small films everywhere. Just got some support from this community for it.
Yeah, and then you end up spending a fortune sending it out to film festivals.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
I've heard you talk
all
about that. I've heard you talk about that. Yeah.
It's a hard one. I'm
A
curious
small
to see
fortune
what.
for
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the highest of stakes are going to approach the distribution. Like, I know they obviously want to. It sounds like they want to get Netflix, but they're not going to. They only really want Netflix as long as Netflix is going to push it. Like, if Netflix just buys it and buries it,
Who cares?
it's like you might have been better off just putting it on YouTube. Like, how do you get the most eyeballs? How do you get the most distribution? And there's no simple answer to that nowadays. Really, it used to be, you get it on television or in cinemas or something, but nowadays, like, that's all completely fractured. So, like, I guess, I mean, ideally Netflix and they have some sort of incentive to pump it on Netflix, and it becomes like the next Tiger King or something like that.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be amazing.
I mean, who's more iconic, Richard Hart or the what's the guy's name? The Tiger King guy's name.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why Richard has gone for this latest push, because he's really moving himself into that kind of comic book character kind of role.
Yeah, I stopped getting pissed about it
doing.
too. I was getting
No, it's very smart. It's very smart. He's basically,
I know,
like, he's positioning himself as as interesting a character as the Tiger King, or whatever his name was, the Tiger Dude.
Yeah,
like that's the level of what he's going for.
I need to find his name.
Where it's kind of like where you catch him out of the thing of your eye, and you just catch a little bit of it.
Go exotic,
and that's enough to intrigue you.
Oh yeah,
and that's enough to make you go, oh, that's interesting. What's that? And
I think he's going
how
for.
Great would it? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just think Richard is going for the most interesting man in the metaverse, and we don't see it yet, but it's going to happen, because some of these choices recently have been quite interesting. But if you take a step back and say, okay, what's the value of this? You won't actually get to see it all until everything starts falling into place. And right now, with everything that's happening, it's just not visible. Some of the things are going to be cringy. Some of it is cringy, to be honest, but there's a method to it.
I mean, I see it as a performance, so I don't see it as cringy at all. I see it as like it's a clown. It's literally clown. He could put a red nose
gesture
on his thing. Yeah.
Well, the last thing
it'd be great if we got a meme of Eric Wall with the same meme as like with Joe Exotic, with like, I will never financially recover from this.
It's hilarious. I will never financially recover from this.
That would be a good meme. Maybe I'll do
but
that.
That's like
try to figure it.
What actually kind of like broke the edge for me was like I'm actually cured from being pissed off about how cringy Richard has been, is his tweet from 4 hours ago. I'm looking at it right now. Quote, Richard, stop flexing, end quote. No, I call the top on the day. I get to have my way. And with that tweet, that kind of just relinquished all the anger and cringe that I've had since he started talking about his dick. So it's like, I'm cured. I'm cured now with that one tweet. I'm fine now. So whatever he's doing, he's gonna do it. I actually unfollowed him for a little bit. Yeah, I did. I was so angered. I wasn't such a salty boy to where I put it on Twitter, to where I unfollowed him, yada yada. But I actually unfollowed him for a very short period of time, and then I followed him again. And then with that tweet he did 4 hours ago, I'm all in again. So I'm fine. Nothing to worry about here, But I was just like,
Mango,
Okay,
he got
like
you.
this is who our leader is. Like this is our king, Richard. We have to accept it. This is our king. You know.
Well, the other thing that I've always thought with Richard is that like he doesn't owe us jack shit. Like he does not
he
owe
doesn't.
us anything. Anything he
Nothing.
does, any little bit of fucking anything he does is bonus.
Nothing. And he's
Anything
always
he
made that
puts
perfectly
towards-
clear to us. Always made that perfectly clear to us. Always made it perfectly clear.
But I don't
shit.
I don't expect anything from anybody. You know what I mean? Anything,
Yeah.
everything
Neither do I,
we're
yeah.
all, anyone is doing is bonus, you know? Like it's just I think it's better to it just I don't know, that's just how I kind of see it, you know. It's like
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, well, you're right. You're 100% right. But that's where I almost fell in. I almost started sliding. It was almost like it's like my mindset. I almost started sliding down a hill where I almost expected something from Richard, and I almost did. I didn't fall down the hill. I almost started sliding down that hill to where I expected something, and then luckily with that tweet, I was just like, "What the fuck am I doing?" Of course, like I've never expected anything from Richard. But then all of a sudden, for this short period of time, I expected something of him, and then I was just like, "What the fuck am I doing?" And then he tweeted that. I'm like, "Thank you." Like yeah, it's like I'm gonna do it. Like we're all humans. Like no one can tell anybody what else. Nobody.
That is true.
You can't tell anybody to do anything.
And you're just giving away your power when you do that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Like if you're looking for someone else to help you, you've given away all your power.
Oh
If you want to create
yeah.
something, if you want to do something, go out in the world and fucking do it, and then you'll get the reward for having done it. You know what I mean? In whatever small way that is. As soon as you start kind of like looking for other people to do shit for you, you've just given away. You're relinquishing yourself or denying yourself this beautiful experience of being able to respond to stuff.
No. Yeah.
Well, Mango, you're saved now.
Yes, I have been saved. I have been saved. Yeah. I am reborn. I am reborn. No.
But
yeah. But
sorry.
People are. Luckily, it didn't happen. You guys see that fucking you guys see that Raccoon deleted his account?
Oh yeah, he split, hey? Yeah.
Yeah, apparently so. I'm sure it'll be back.
Very dramatic, isn't it? I'm quitting Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I love it.
Dude? Just don't go on it. Like I have to fucking delete out. Just don't go on it if you don't want to go on it. You know, it's like
yeah. I love the drama, dude. I fucking love it. I think it could be a part of like a whole elaborate plan of being like this part of the documentary, which would be good. I love drama. I'm a fucking fag for drama and stuff like that. You know, so hopefully it actually ends up turning out to be something cool, like with the whole higher stakes and stuff like that. You know, I think it'll be good.
Yeah. I was automatically pretty suspicious when the My Life is Awesome guy came out with Rackham's story about how he was in a church or whatever, and all of a sudden he had his life-changing moment, and then his life just completely changed after that. And it always came across to me as very much that's a made-up story. That's not a real story. Like that's not how people's lives work. And maybe you do have that moment, and you can, think back and create that around a moment, but that's not how moments.
If you're a drug addict, it can work like that, though. If you're a drug addict, it can work like that. No, it can. I'm serious. It can. Yeah.
Oh, Blue, you and I have seen a few scripts in our lifetimes, right? Does that seem like any script you've ever seen?
Yeah, it seems like every single script that Hollywood,
Yeah.
It's
very
much so.
I haven't seen any videos from Lit in a while. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen for ages. Hey,
I hope he's doing all right.
Time.
He blew up pretty quick. I saw him first.
I loved him when he first came on. I thought he was playing a character.
Yeah. I thought so too. He had really
Very entertaining.
It's probably some of the most unique intros I've ever seen. I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like this before ever. And he
Yeah, I
blew
thought he
up
was-
really quickly.
I thought it was really funny, and then I thought, oh, maybe he's not a character. Maybe that's just actually really him. You know,
yeah,
that's just
I think
him
it
being
was.
natural.
He seemed like a super cool guy.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I've known people like Lit. Like I've met people like Lit.
Yeah,
I don't doubt that part of it though. Yeah. People are just like,
Yeah.
it's like we're just gonna be going over here. We're gonna be doing this, and then I'm gonna be doing some like push-ups. We're gonna go for a run, especially Midwestern people, like people from like I'll say Central America, but like from the center line of America to the west. Not California, but they're all about just like kind of like almost like a little bit of upspeak and dealing like whatever they're doing. So like, we're going to be going over here, and then, we're just going to be totally rad about doing this. You know what I mean? Like it happens like that, I hope for the best. I hope the best for the guy. Like hopefully he's doing okay and stuff like that. I love people. People are great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't assume he's not doing okay just because someone's not on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that's pretty much the end of your existence, Blue. Like you're not on Twitter. What are you doing, man?
Yeah. Did you die?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Are you being
You know
held
what's funny?
hostage?
You know what's funny? That is a real that's a thing these days. Like if you're not on Twitter, people really think
what
you're
happened?
irrelevant.
What happened to
I've heard
them?
I heard that. I didn't log into Twitter for about 3 weeks, and somebody said, "Hey man, what happened? You got so irrelevant real quick." I'm like, dude, I've only had 500 people on my Twitter forever. It's never passed that number. What are you talking about? But yeah, what do you guys think about? Since we're here, we're talking about Twitter a little bit. What do you guys think about the Elon Musk purchase of Twitter, and what do you see changing with that decision?
Not much, really. You'll see a lot more people saying a little more offensive words and not getting banned for it. Maybe that's about it.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are pretty upset about it. I being in like a university, and I run in pretty left-leaning circles, and like some people were like legitimately upset about it, and I was a little surprised about that.
That's weird.
I didn't think much of it personally.
What aspect of it are they upset about? The purchase, or just the fact that he did a very smart thing with money and moved it around?
So they think that essentially it's going to turn into like a 4chan. A lot of people are worried about Trump coming back on Twitter.
White nationalism, man!
Yeah.
What?
No! Hail Hitler! Hail Hitler!
What?
Yeah. So they're worried about Trump getting back on Twitter because they see him empowering, far right
racists and
factions,
stuff like that.
factions. And so and essentially the big thing is like, that's why we got events like January 6th in America, because people like Trump were emboldening them through their tweets, and then they see it as him getting unbanned would just be like a step back for our country as a whole. Like that's their perspective.
Oh, well, okay. Here's the thing I like about Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. It's one of the only places outside of Reddit that I can have a conversation about crypto, and it doesn't go too wild. I mean, sometimes it gets wild, some of the chats, but you can have it, and then you can genuinely meet people. But one of the things I've learned about Twitter since I've been there from like 2012, it's not a real place. It's not somewhere where everything has to be all factual, because even sometimes certain facts aren't true to everything, and it's like, what's wrong with Trump being on Twitter? Like, even whether or not you're left or right, like he's just another individual.
That was just strange. That's just strange.
Yeah, and I said it to somebody the other day. I'm like, Twitter is not somewhere for everything to be right and in your liking. It's like it's this automatic group association that everything has to be with this. It's kind of weird to me with social media. It's like, I experienced that back in the day when I used to sell Facebook pages, right? Like, you would join some Facebook groups, and if everything wasn't in alignment with that thing, then you couldn't talk. And now Twitter is like, well, if my small circle can't be in agreement with everybody else's viewpoint, or if your viewpoint can't fit to this, it doesn't work. And I'm like, Twitter is supposed to be a hub for discussions, period. And you can post it immediately to the internet, and other people interact with it. That's all it does for you. right? And it's like we're here now on Restream doing this conversation, like talking to Blue, Mango, and Slot, and it's like we're gonna have different opinions. But what if we disagree on something? Does it mean that the platform should go or Blue should not invite himself back? It's like it's kind of weird to me with social media. I don't get when we got to that point, but it's pulverizing. I can tell you that. It's really pulverizing.
Yeah.
I like the Twitter purchase because for the first time in a long time, a social platform is not limited by, as Blue said earlier about those people who go to work and in government and make decisions. Twitter started to feel like the government for a while. Started to feel like they became the authority. Like if I want to silence you, I can just shut you down. Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. And then we got this guy named this brand called Elon Musk that is a little bit more radical. It's like they want to shut down everything for COVID. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to do this with the SEC. No, I'm going to tell you that my stock's going to go change. And he'll publicly say, I don't really like the SEC. So waste of time organization. And then he went and looked at Twitter. He's like, yeah, but there's way more we can do. So why not let me do it? I personally don't care how he bought it. I see it gets pulverizing for people. I don't care how he bought it. I'm just hoping that it becomes something meaningful for us, that Twitter will be one of those spaces that we can keep using meaningfully. I hope that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like an important thing to remember also is that there are mute buttons. There are block buttons.
Yes.
If there are, yes. Like you can mute people. You don't have to block people. You can mute people. You do not have to see what they have to say. If there's an interesting feed to where you see something blocked out and it's like, oh, wow, what does that say? Oh, I muted that person. Let me click the button. Okay, that person has something interesting to say. Maybe I'll not mute them anymore. That actually happened to me. I've muted people before, and I've got onto threads to where there was something interesting being talked about, and I muted someone, and they actually said something that I agreed with or was an interesting arguing point, and then I unmuted them or unblocked them, and then you go on with the conversation. Like you see what they're saying, you see the situation. You can't just block people out of your life. Like you can't just you can't just black people
Censorship
out.
Censorship is completely paradoxical. If you want to try to it does not work. If as soon as you start censoring people, they're going to want to speak even more, and people are going to want to hear them even more.
That's a fact.
It's a completely impractical, ridiculous, dumbest thing ever. Kind of like trying to censor people is the most stupid strategy. It does not work. It's just based out of fear as well. It's like you're trying to control out of fear, and as soon as you try to control, you're not going to control. Like it just doesn't. People are too innovative. So, but I'm very skeptical about Elon Musk. Like I've read certain things where he didn't come up with the whole PayPal technology thing. He just bought it, and
that's not too big of a deal for me though. That's honestly not too big of a deal for me. I know exactly what you're talking about as well, but that's more of like a business thing to where it comes to me as more of a technology.
Yeah, it just he comes across to me when I've seen him in interviews and stuff like that. He doesn't come across to me as a highly intelligent person. He comes across to me as an actor. And he comes across as an actor. He's playing a role. That's what I'm guessing.
All right, so
yeah,
Blue, I want to comment on that. Right, there are these books called Asimov's. Can't remember the title of it. But he's a right.
He's a big guy, the Nazi. Well, the Nazi who that became head of NASA, I believe. He wrote a fictional book, and in it was this guy Elon was going to take people to Mars, and he wrote that book in the 1950s.
No, hold on, no, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's a serious thing. It's not a conspiracy theory. No, so hold on. He really likes the books, and a lot of.
I'm John, but this is not.
No, it's nice, and I like the fact that Blue knows about these things. But the thing about it is, he knows how to play his character, right? I give him that. When it comes on to being a founder of an idea from scratch and building it, that's never been what he did. If he learns tools, he knows how to. The thing that he does very well, Blue, he knows how to construct a narrative. He's very good at that. He's extremely good at that narrative. And even if he's not, it comes off to some people sometimes as if he doesn't know how to present well. The truth is he comes up with those narratives and he sticks within those characters for a very long time. If you look at PayPal, he had X.com before with his brother. X.com was supposed to go up against Yellow Pages. They joined two companies, and that's how he got PayPal. If you look at Tesla, he was never the founder. He bought in company. Oh God, I'm getting phone calls. Sorry, guys.
Blowing up, son. Blowing up. Hot spot. Hot spot. Gafar the King. Getting blown up.
Yeah, so guys, I'm gonna.
So is the claim like? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch to my cell phone. There's somebody in my gate, and I gotta go outside. So I'm walking. I'm just taking the laptop.
Blue Mama tell us.
Yeah, go ahead,
So,
Blue.
Blue,
You can
what are you
tell
talking about? Yeah. So what is this?
Well, I'm not going to be. It's if you go to the dark journalist has mentioned it before, and there's a book that I'm pretty sure there was, like, the Americans brought over a whole lot of Nazis, and they became, and one of them became the head of NASA.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. I'm pretty sure it was him that he ended up writing these fiction books, and in this fiction book, and you can read the whole book. I've only heard people discussing the book, and but in that book, there's this fictional character.
It's like known
Elon.
history. It's like known history now too. Like people, we all brought the Nazis over, the smartest ones, and NASA,
Operation Paperclip. That's all. That's not.
Yeah.
Documented. Yeah. But anyway, he wrote a fictional book, and in that fictional book, there was a character, Elon, who was going to take people to that took people to Mars, or was going to be the first person to go to Mars, or something like that.
Just crazy.
People will have to do a bit more research on that. I can't remember the name of the book, but I found out about it through. There's this YouTube channel called Dark Journalist, who does really fantastic, awesome stuff, and so check out Dark Journalist on YouTube if you want to find out a little bit more about that. Yeah, or do your own research or whatever.
A lot of shenanigans.
But yeah,
going
Elon.
on.
For me, it comes out. Elon's fakeness comes out every now and then when he does things like he was buying Bitcoin and he didn't realize that the wallet he had was actually a custodial wallet, and then he couldn't just dump the Bitcoin when he wanted to. And then he had sent some tweets out about it.
Was he multi-sig or something?
Yeah, and then other things that he said about Dogecoin, where he didn't realize, or in Bitcoin, he didn't realize that it took electricity. Like, people see that as him just trolling.
That was just stupid. Yeah, that was a stupid.
But that to me, no. That to me is him actually. He actually doesn't
manipulating
know.
Market.
He actually no. It's not him manipulating the market. He does these things and he doesn't know all the time. But people see it and think, well, he must know, and so then he must be trolling. But no, he actually just didn't fucking know. Maybe he's just not very intelligent, and he's just playing this role as this kind of big entrepreneurial guy. And then one of the reasons that I'm also sus about him is because he gets tons of press. And normally when if someone is anti-establishment at all, they get ripped down by the media. Like what we see with Donald Trump. And they don't last very long, and especially if they're coming out with really kind of radical, revolutionary or radical ideas or whatever.
I love his wife's music though. I was actually a fan of Grimes' music for years before they actually were together and had their baby and stuff like that. His, I don't know if they're even married. His wife or the baby's mom.
I have no idea about her.
She makes she's a music maker. She makes music. She makes electronic music. I was actually a fan of hers for a long time too. So when I found out that she had a baby with Elon Musk, it blew my mind. I'm like, what? It's crazy. Yeah, but Grimes, Grimes, Grimes.
Yeah. But, hey guys, I gotta head off.
Here we go.
I gotta head off really quickly.
All right, man. Yeah, good
cool,
talking to you,
man.
Slot.
Thanks for
Good
coming
talking
on,
to you, man.
Slot.
Yeah.
That was
Hey, I had a
awesome.
ton of fun. Thanks for letting me hang out tonight on your channel, Blue. Mango, it was good talking with you.
Yeah, brother, you too.
Jafar, great talking with you too. Congrats to
Nice to hear from you
Hedron
too, man.
and Alex for the first liquidations, and maybe we'll do another one for the launch bonus ending.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. For
Yeah.
sure.
yeah,
man.
yeah. Absolutely.
Good talking to you, man.
Take it easy, everybody.
Cheers, bro. See ya.
See ya.
So thank you, Solix. I'm going to put that up. It's von Braun's book, 1953 book, Mars Project. It's pretty crazy that Elon. There's a character in there that's called Elon, which is taking people. to
Yeah, it's
Mars
very
or whatever.
strange. Very strange. Yeah.
There was also like what's his name? When Trump was in office, who was his attorney general? Barr. Was it Barr?
Yeah.
And his dad was head of the Dalton School, where
It's all
Jeffrey
fucking
Epstein.
connected. Yeah, it's all
And-
generational
well, hang on.
bullshit. Yeah.
He also wrote some books, I think. Oh, I can't even remember the relevancy of those books now. But the books that he wrote were also kind of like you read what they were about and you're just like, what the fuck is going on there? Yeah.
Jim Barr. Yeah, Jim Barr.
Hmm.
Jim Barr was the guy. Yeah, that was his name.
The world is a very, very fascinating place. You know, I remember thinking when I was like in high school and when I was going to university and stuff, but especially in high school, I remember thinking, oh, it's all been discovered. Everything's known. There's nothing left to really discover. It's all just kind of been done. And it's just like,
Yeah, right.
how wrong, so wrong. Like there is so much interesting stuff that's like we've been lied to so much about our history, about like,
Yeah.
I mean, seeing like there's just so much you can go into, like Tartarian, like this. It's just
Tartarian stuff. Exactly. Yeah.
so interesting, you know. Like,
Because all of our shit's so plain and simple now. It's like oh, it's modern. Oh yeah, there's no ornation. Like there's no ornate decorative things anymore. There's no flourish. There's no flourish.
dude,
it's all
I went to
plain.
I went to this church here in where I am I'm in like in this little Colombian town. The most beautiful church, just ornate and like this huge, and I'm just like, and it was supposedly built like in 1800 or something like that. And I'm just like, there's no how do they build this in 1800? The thing is just incredible. You know what I mean? Like
it's just like time and skill, craftsmanship. It's like we're all.
I don't know. I think there are other technologies around that we don't have access to now. Like
besides for just like craftsmanship, like even it's been a long time since I've actually looked into all this stuff, but there was a guy in Florida who was able to move heavy stone dealing with electromagnetism. And that's something that's been forgotten. I can't remember the name of the guy or something like that, but like it's all dealing with just like magnetism of the rock and the planet and stuff like that, which makes total sense to me. But you know, some people they don't have open minds to realize there's different forces and frequencies and vibrations in this world that we deal with. So all the stuff that seems like crazy to most is not to some others, and they use that, you know, to develop technology and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's almost like anything that's been labeled as crazy, that's the signpost to look into it more. Like, oh, okay, there must be something there.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Coral
been banned.
Castle,
That's been banned and ridiculed. Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's obviously where the truth is. It's
Yeah,
crazy, eh?
Yeah, Marcavelli just posted it. Yeah, Coral Castle. Yeah, it's a guy moving stone that an old man, a single old man cannot move his stone, but he would move all this stone at night. And then when he died, there was no way of finding out how he would move it. But it was basically, but it was kind of like, you know, it was kind of like looked at to where like this could have been the technology to how the Egyptians actually just built their pyramid and stuff like that. And then there's all this speculation. Go ahead.
Well, you know what I heard about the pyramids? One theory was that
Yeah.
they weren't actually cut out and moved into place. They were
Poured.
laid. It was poured. Yeah, it was a mixture.
Poured. Yeah. Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
poured.
Poured. Yeah.
Poured.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. There, I haven't been on Instagram in a long time. But there was this guy I followed on Instagram who lives in Costa Rica, who organic guy, fruit grower, who deals with like organic building and stuff like that. But he was basically saying it's like, you know how like the Brazilians had like, I forgot the name. I'm fucking drunk right now, but there was like the whole organic way of the black char they had for growing their crops. It was like kind of like
yeah.
yeah.
It's some
But,
amazing in South America. It's some
yeah,
amazing
yeah.
mixture of soils and
Yeah,
and
the
mud
Central
and stuff.
Americans. Yeah, the
Yeah, they
Central
use that to grow stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Central Americans, not the South Americans, but the Central American tribes had a similar but different way of pouring concrete to where it would actually turn into a solid stone, to where modern day scientists looking at it only look at it as stone, but it's not stone. It's poured organics that looks similar to stone. I'm fucking hammered right now. I have like 6 beers. I'm on my second martini. I can't remember a lot of things right now, but it's something I remember. You know, little something like that. Yeah. The guy was cool. The whole thing with the Brazilian thing is called biochar, dealing with like farming and stuff like that. You know, my brother-in-law is actually starting to deal with it now because luckily my younger sister, she's been with the same man since they were like 14 years old, and he actually lived with us. He was like from a broken home and stuff like that. His family lived at a hotel, like even to like we're fucking poor. Like my family was fucking poor, welfare, living at hotels and stuff like that until I was a little older, and then his family was the same way too, and he actually lived with us when he was a young teenager, and he actually did really great for himself, very smart person, but he's really into organics and agriculture. So he's like a suit. He's like a fucking white collar fucking, like we're going to the fucking conference room today, motherfucker. And luckily he's into like growing food and stuff. So they're in like northern Pennsylvania right now, but working from home, and he's getting heavily into organics and farming and stuff like that too. And they actually just planned like maybe a couple months ago. I actually went up there like maybe 2-3 months ago. We fell a shit ton of trees from his property. He's got maybe like 2 acres of land, and we did some like tree work, and we were like felling trees like fucking lumberjacks. Never did it before. Fucking scary. Falling trees.
Right.
That were like, yeah. We watched a couple YouTube videos. We knew what we were doing.
Shit.
We knew what we were doing.
You remember when you were watching them YouTube videos and felt like you were a pro?
Woo! Son, I'll tell you what. When you're looking up at dude, I'm not even joking. Like a 200 foot, like 150 foot tree, I'm talking like a serious oak tree falling down on you. It's pretty serious. It's pretty serious. But we did it, and it was pretty fun. A little scary, a lot of work. You know, I like to lift things up and put them down. You know what I'm saying? But he's got like a bunch of fig trees, apple trees, peaches. Because even in like New Jersey and like the northeastern part of the U.S., you can actually grow a shit ton of fruit. So the trees that he planted are actually taking really good, and there's a lot of like fruit, like not fruit growing yet, but it'll take a couple years till the fruit tree is going. But we took care of the land, and it's very exciting. The next couple years are gonna be pretty exciting to see like the fruits of the labor, as they say, come about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm kind of like I think I'm about Dunsky. It's been 3 hours.
Yeah, man. We'll
Um,
call it.
yeah. Is there anything? Is there any last things you wanted to bring up or say, either of you?
Gunther's
Yeah,
a scumbag.
go ahead,
Don't
Mungo.
trust.
Ah, let's. We don't have
That's
to
my
trust him.
parting
We don't have
words.
to trust anybody, and you shouldn't listen to anybody's
Yeah.
advice. Like because sounds like everyone's got their agendas, don't they? So make
Yeah,
up your own
yeah.
minds, and like
Yeah.
don't
No.
FOMO into anything. Like by the same, yeah, he was doing, he was encouraging people to do this or that, but like, it also takes the person to fucking follow that shit. You know what I mean? Like, grow up, be an adult, make your own
Yeah.
decisions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to leave with the HSI stuff today. The liquidation stuff has been quite interesting to watch for the last 24 hours. Blue, you provide awesome coverage all the time. You do this, man, and thank you for keep doing that. Mango, it's good to talk to you and see you having dinner,
man.
making juices. you can shake a jar. See, I saw that too, and you guys are really fun, man, and it's been a wonderful first time. Blue, I hope to come on another time and have some fun with you guys. And I'll make sure the mic works and the camera.
Oh, cool, man. I've never seen you. That'd be awesome to
Man.
see you.
Well, I'm tall, dark, and handsome.
That's what I like, man. Tall, dark, and handsome. That's what I'm talking about. Lots of Jamaican mangoes, son. Yeah, I've heard only amazing things about Jamaican mangoes. So I love you already.
Well, it's mango season here now. So if you were here,
I know it is. I know.
That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yo, when I'm fucking rich, hold on. When I'm rich, I'm literally only going to be traveling in the regions of the world for mango season. So when it's Jamaican,
I'll make a little clubhouse on the
Jamaica.
property that's called the Mango Joint. You can have
Good.
that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there.
All right, man. Well, both you
Awesome.
gentlemen, take
All
care,
right.
man. It's been awesome.
So yeah, thank you so much, Gafar, for coming on. Thanks heaps, Mango Junkie, and thanks to everyone in the chat, Jawa, Mud, Dingo, Bro, Executioner, l'homme française qui était là. Ah, here it is. Selex, alias Dur Danematolch, aka Gaemon. Okay. Thanks, Gaemon. And Machiavelli. Oh, just everyone. Yeah. It's all been great, guys. Big special thanks to Alex. Hopefully you're not watching right now. You're having a rest. And for creating such an amazing product, Hedron. And yeah, that was the launch of the auctions, an historical moment. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you guys later.